but
somebody
happy to
shows
see,
up.
you know?
Somebody shows up to stream just wearing a shirt that just says, "By the way, I do support women's rights."
Oh, can you not see my shirt?
We have gotten so much mileage of a different joke I said.
It was a good joke. It's a great joke.
Actually, to be fair, Jamie had it, so credit due.
I'm crying, and stream hasn't even started yet.
High five.
Incredible.
We don't steal jokes in this household.
We respect.
No,
Share
H-bombs
them.
would come
So
after you
true.
if you think about it.
Very true. Hold on a second.
Rotate
That's
the same
weird.
book of bits
Yeah.
between us all. The communal book of bits.
The communal book of
Oh,
bits.
this
The
one's a
little
lot.
red joke
Amen.
book, if you will.
I won't.
Will I?
The
Must
little
I?
red joke book that could.
I feel like there's a bit there that I haven't read that bit in the communal joke book.
Listen, there's only one red book that I carry around with me and reference at all times.
Okay,
And
Mal.
it's not that one. Hey, what's up? Hi. How's it going?
Nah, dude.
I am not a Marxist-Leninist, but I am a Marxist feminist. The brain one.
Actually, I'm giving that to you.
You know what? That would be not the worst T-shirt in the world.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. But you're on thin
I'm-
fucking ice.
I'm not, I
We're
don't
not
hate
playing
it.
Monster Hearts. We're designing T-shirts here.
I think it would have.
I don't hate it.
We're also
I think it
not
would
playing
have landed
Monster
better. Listen, this
right.
is my second stream of the day.
Apocalypse Keys, god damn it.
Same system, right?
Same thing.
Same system, basically.
Same
I
thing.
think that joke would have landed better if I'd committed with it and didn't realize how much I hated it halfway as it was out of my mouth. And just
I think
said
that
it
makes
with
it better.
a sigh of resignation. I guess we're saying this.
We've committed to the bit.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Contrary to popular belief, this is going to be a game of Apocalypse Keys. Welcome. If you've never caught us before, we are live from the Apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that makes actual play content like nonprofits, like podcasts, and the stream that you are about to watch to raise money for aid organizations and nonprofits. That time I was supposed to say nonprofits. We are currently benefiting Rainbow Railroad, which is a very important and good nonprofit that seeks to help LGBTQ individuals, and especially in these very unfortunate and scary times, trans individuals get out of unsafe living situations and into better ones. So we just ask that if you like what you see here, instead of doing the normal Twitch things, like subscribing or giving us bits or interacting with fake Amazon currency in any way, shape, or form, you instead take the $5 or the $6 or whatever you would have been able to give us, there is no expectation, and put it directly towards Rainbow Railroad instead, because they will do good and important work with it, and we just pretend to be weird, sad monsters on the internet for entertainment during the holidays. Yay. This is the last stream of our holiday fundraiser benefiting Rainbow Railroad. We have done a lot of games. I couldn't tell you how many, more than 12, I think. And we have hit our stretch goal. We met our goal very early on. We've beaten the stretch goal. We are in overtime now, I guess, for, I don't know, 3 more hours, roughly. So yeah, you can do that if you want. And if you're on mobile, we have hidden the subscribe button. You should not be able to find it. Seek it at your own peril. If you do locate it, we can't stop you from doing it. But if you're on mobile, you can hit !donate in the chat, and it'll post the link that you can use to donate to Rainbow Railroad instead. If you do find the subscribe button, we can't stop you from doing it. But just be aware that if you do so, Brendan Lee Mulligan, beloved Dimension 20 Dungeon Master, will kill a dog in cold blood. He will murder 1 dog for every month that you are subscribed to this channel. And it's the holidays. Don't do that. Don't do that. Every second that he spends out on the streets killing dogs is another second that he could spend with his growing family. So, maybe just give money to Rainbow Railroad instead. All of that being said, hi. This is Apocalypse Keys. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves. We will also, maybe arguably the Marxist feminist, the mold from which we were all cut. I'm going to stop talking. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves. We'll do like plugs and things at the end of the stream. But right now, if you just want to say who you are playing, what your playbook is, any and all pronouns that you want to share, that you feel comfortable sharing, feel free. And very exciting development. As always, we're going to go in alphabetical order for once Brendan is not going first. Bob, if you would be so kind.
In my brain, I just went, "Oh no, that means I'm first."
Does. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Bob. You can find me at Stage Outlaw on most socials. I am glad to be back and playing with you guys at the table here. My playbook is going to be The Found tonight. I am playing Bomi, The Found. And that's all I'll give you for right now. Find out more later.
Amazing. And that brings us to Brendan.
I appreciate your sacrifice, Bob. Hello, I am Brendan, he, him pronouns, and I am playing, as it just said down there, Sanikov, the last playbook. Sanikov also uses he, him pronouns, though in his case, it's mostly just because people started using them with him and he never bothered to correct them. So, yep.
Fantastic. Moving right along, Jamie, that brings us to you.
Hello, I'm Jamie. I'm playing the Grinch. Now that I said it out loud, I feel like I've opened everybody up to some lawsuits. So now I'm worried about that.
Legally distinct Grinch.
Yeah, the legally distinct, unrelated to Benedict Cumberbatch's impersonation of the Grinch.
So the Grunch.
We know the most iconic version of the character.
I'm sorry.
I said what I said. That movie's bad. Anyway, yeah, I'm using the summoned rulebook, and I'm just happy to be here.
Fantastic. I just genuinely did not know that there was a Benedict Cumberbatch incarnation of the
Hey,
Oh
Grinch.
yeah, the
who was gonna
Illumination
tell me?
animated one from like 4 or 5 years ago.
Holy shit.
It's the worst adaptation.
I mean,
Was
I'm
anybody
sure.
going to say anything, or were we supposed to find that out during a Haz-Mas stream? Like, is that...
Yeah, I feel like an announcement should have been like a press release or something.
Every day you learn something is a day not wasted.
I was not informed, but thank you so much. Yeah, this day is no longer wasted. Kit.
Oh gosh, it's me. Hi, I'm Kit. You can find me places on the internet at KitRoll or KitRollCause, and the bad place that we don't talk about. I will be playing Lillipy. I don't speak Danish. I hope I'm doing that right. Or the artist formerly known as the Little Matchstick Girl. So the vibes are going to be about like that. They, them for me, if you'd be so kind. She, her for our little girl. No longer little girl.
Wonderful. And last but certainly not least, Rose.
Howdy, howdy. My name is Rose. I use she, they pronouns. My character is Detective Alabaster Smythe. He uses he, they pronouns. I am playing the Surge, and I will be playing an ice zombie that's been brought back to life by a malevolent hat from a icy realm. So good times there. Totally nothing bad's going to happen to him or our guys. I am playing based off of Frosty the Snowman.
Wonderful. And as I have said many times about this game over the course of our Haz-Mas season here at LFTA, the vibes with all of these characters are immaculate for Apocalypse Keys. And despite our start here tonight, this is probably going to be a very dark game. Not by design. That's just kind of how Apocalypse Keys is. So just a heads up for that. My name is Will. I'm your storyteller. I'll be playing everybody else tonight. Heads up, there probably will be, as I stated, some horror. There will probably be body horror, some psychological horror. I will try to give some heads up before we get into anything that's very graphic, and it probably won't be very graphic, but just putting that out there now. Be aware. Take care of yourselves. If this does not sound like something you are into, feel free to find something else. But yeah, that's how we're doing this tonight. So with all of that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and dive right into our story here. And where that is going to begin is actually in a city. We will see us. We will pan across a city skyline. Could be really any city in the continental United States, but for our purposes, this city is Philadelphia. And Sorry, some last minute tech weirdness here. There we go. The year is 1962. We pan across the skyline. It's dark. It's nighttime, but the lights of the city keep it from being swallowed by that surrounding, encroaching darkness. Snow is falling and is doing nothing to illuminate those streets farther. There's a building that sits at the center of the city. It's old, domed, been there since the city was founded. And during brighter hours of the day, the area surrounding it is occupied by Christmas trees and vendors, song and cheer, people bustling around with their families. But it is not such an hour currently. The hour is late. We leave that building because our story does not begin in the above ground world of humanity. Our story begins below the city, underneath the domed building at the center of Philadelphia. And presently, in an auditorium. The walls are decorated appropriately for the 60s. There's lots of wood paneling. There's lots of ugly carpeting. Vinyl seats that will inevitably become cracked and worn with age and have to be replaced. The room is dark. The only light currently being provided is from a projector that is projecting slides up on a screen that sits on one wall. Aside from the person speaking, there are 5 figures seated in the auditorium, watching these slides, listening to what is being said to them. And I think, as hard as it is to make them out or see them, we'll begin by panning across and taking them in. So if everybody's all right with it, we'll do the same order. Bob, what does Bomi look like?
You see a large, monstrous body covered in white or gray hair. There are physical scars on the body. Very big, strong hands. But if you were to look into Bomi's eyes, you would see a warmth and a tenderness that almost sort of brings you in and makes you connect with him. And that's all I'll say about Bomi at that point.
Love that. I will ask, just because otherwise we're just going to all sit here and think about it. Is Bomi wearing any clothing or anything like that?
None right now.
Cool. Good to know. Getting that out of the way up front. Brendan, what about Sanikov?
Sanikov, I think probably. Well, how big is Bomi? Is Bomi like giant or just like?
He's really big.
But Bomi's a big boy. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would say probably 10 to 12 feet big.
Sanikov is not that big. Sanikov, though you could almost mistake Sanikov for looking somewhat like a smaller Bomi at first glance. However, it's partly because he is wearing what appears to be an assortment of animal hides, furs and animal hides, on top of a bulky uh, suit that almost looks like a cosmonaut spacesuit. Um, in fact, it does actually have some faded Cyrillic writing on it that you can occasionally see when he shifts in his seat. Um, and as he breathes, his breath sort of fogs the room.
Jamie, would you please describe the Grinch?
Oh, he's just this guy. No, at first glance, if you're walking through, say, like a dark alley or something, you'd be like, man, that guy looks sick. But you'd be like, that's human. That is a human. And then you look at him, and you're like, you notice, his face is kind of squished and his skin is like more green than like a sickly yellow, with like something unnatural about it. And then you'll notice that he's got these long, spindly green fingers that seem to curl as if they have just way too many knuckles, like something that just makes them seem like he's come out of some kind of nightmare existence. He also has a Santa hat and shorts, like big red Santa shorts with black suspenders, no shirt, so his pot belly sticks out, but he has no shame. He has body confidence about the whole thing. And then on top of that, he wears a dirty, dark trench coat. It probably started as like brown, but at this point, it's almost like a molted gray, just almost as sickly looking as its owner.
I hate so much of that, but I do agree that this is probably the Doug Jones character of our feature. It's
Yes. I think so far perhaps the most normal looking of the squad.
checks
Um,
out.
you just see a human girl, a human woman, uh, probably appears to be somewhere 20s, 30s, something like that. Um, not terribly tall, just very pale, blonde, but holds herself in a very serious manner. Like on all levels but physical, this is like Black Widow vibes. She's very serious, she is here to do a job. And so she's just sort of very standing straight and paying very much attention to whoever is talking about, or at least appears like it. Um, and I think very little would, allude to the fact that she's not just like a human woman, except for there is this shadow that follows her, and it is currently standing over her right shoulder, um, probably a bit shorter than she is. So it almost looks like maybe it is her shadow, just like on, whatever auditorium curtains or whatever are behind them. But it moves of its own volition. And on occasion, she sort of turns her head as if she's listening and then turns back to the task at hand.
And Rose.
So I think similar to Kit's character, how it would look probably the most human, especially in a dark room or far away. It wouldn't be only until up close and you could actually see him that you'd probably notice the blue skin that's very tight and cracking. He wears kind of an anachronistic looking suit and suspenders that are out of time for the 60s. They definitely look a little bit older. He speaks with a kind of grizzly Southern accent and is just constantly loading up his pipe and smoking it. And as he breathes out, smoke comes out of his chest. from all of the different holes and orifices that a decaying body would develop after years and years of use. Other than that, he kind of just looks like a detective, except for a wide-brimmed, very used, tribbly-looking hat that looks very dirty, never been washed, but has never left his head.
Fantastic. An amazing group of individuals we have here. The person up at the front of the room who is speaking, you would all know mostly by the name Morrison. She is one of the agents, a higher up for sure, one of the supervising agents, and she is wearing a very businesslike suit. She walks with a bit of a limp from an old injury she sustained on assignment, and she is a regular human person, so it is very possible that some of you were around when she was an active operative. You may have even done some missions with her before she was sort of forced out of the field by that very terrible injury. Currently, she has some scarring over her body that has largely faded. You can only really see it in like very direct, harsh light. And her hair is very close to going solidly gray, something that she has made no attempt to conceal or hide. No makeup, dresses very businesslike, and is currently speaking as she is sort of clicking through these slides. So the first one that slides across is of a folk painting of some kind. And she clicks through a bunch of these in rapid succession, and they all seem to depict very similar images. This sort of hunched, dark furred being with goat legs and horns, usually sharp teeth in most of them, reddish eyes with like a basket slung over its shoulder. And the only other through line through all of these images, really, aside from that figure, is the presence of children who are crying. Morrison speaks as she starts clicking through these. She says, Krampus. You know the stories as well as I do, some of you, probably better. As far as I know, as far as anybody knows, really, you might have some firsthand experience in this matter. Krampus is sometimes popularized as Santa Claus's brother, like the dark half, goes around punishing children who are poorly behaved instead of giving presents or giving coal. It's largely become a piece of pop culture that's caught on, but I mean, hey, then again, this whole holiday thing kind of is. Up until very, very recently, we had no reason to suspect Krampus was anything except for a story. Clicks through again to a black and white photo of a group of scientists in white coats, although the picture's black and white, obviously. They all look very put together. They're all standing together very proudly outside of a scientific research facility of some kind, clearly the name of which is printed on the side of it in German. Some of you may have some experience, some familiarity. You may recall, scrolling back in my notes, normal things. There we go. All right. Some of you may recall Operation Bestrafung. Was an effort, scientific effort by the combination of the Nazis' occult division and the scientists to, well, we don't exactly know. Whatever it was, they had succeeded. Would have been bad for everybody, and we're fortunate that they didn't. Clicks to the next slide, where there is the image of one man, one of the scientists from the prior photo. But a more recent photograph, this one is in like the very saturated colors of like the 60s. And he does not look that part of the like severe sort of serious, self-serious German scientist anymore. He looks like any American like professor. You could pick him out, like sweater vest, sort of a blazer over it. He's grown out kind of a beard. His hair's a little shaggy in the style of the times. Dr. Elias Wagner defected from Germany near the beginning of World War II, left Operation Bestrafung very early on. The ideologies and practices of the Third Reich proved to be unconscionable for him, and America took him in. He's been a citizen here ever since. He's been helping us out, and recently he's been able to impart some intel to us that even though the Third Reich may have collapsed, some of them are still running around out there trying to finish what they started all those years ago. Whatever that might be. Our intel tells us they have no interest in propagating the purposes of World War II. Whatever it is they're trying to do, it's less concentrated than that, shall we say. And at this point, I'm going to ask the first of our establishing questions to the group at large. Dr. Elias Wagner defected from Germany at the very start of World War II, claiming the ideologies and practices of the Third Reich were unconscionable to him. That may be true, but you know there's more to it than that. What actually brought him into the protection of the USA? And this could be any one of you, but it's basically just to establish a connection between you and Dr. Elias Wagner, who is going to be your sort of point of contact on this mission.
I mean, hot take. He's one of us. He was of import to the agency, or to the section of the agency that we are a part of. And he may have not known it at the time, but he had some, secret powers, tragic backstory, et cetera, that makes him an asset to the nation and to the division specifically. Whether or not
Cool.
that has been disclosed to him yet, who can
I
never
dig
be sure.
that.
But
I dig
It was
that.
important to bring him into the fold.
we were gonna get him anyways. Is
Right.
basically what that is.
I think
One way or
that
another.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I really like that. I think if that's the case, kid, if you wanna state that, then I think maybe you would be the only member of your group that was disclosed to, that he was a possible asset, and I think ultimately proved not a good fit for everything, and so was not.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so was not. So he's been living just like a regular life as a regular dude, basically ever since. But you may have had like an encounter, like one or two conversations, basically as part of that process.
Maybe when the discussion was more, let's bring him in, and less, he's coming in anyways of his own volition, that may have been a task that my team at the time was tasked with.
Absolutely.
That never ended up needing to come to fruition.
Fantastic. I dig that a lot. I love that a lot. That sounds great. So we'll go with that. Clicks through to the next slide. It is one more folk painting of Krampus. This one kind of a zoomed in one on like his horrible face with like the long sort of curving tongue coming out from between the sharp teeth. Morrison continues. Only real thing we know is that somehow Operation Bestrafung relates back to Krampus. Now, what exactly the purpose of it is, what exactly the mechanisms are, Wagner hasn't been able to disclose to us. He left the project too early on to find any of that out. but that's about all the intel we have. I'm going to ask the second establishing question. One of you has encountered Krampus before, a very long time ago. What were the circumstances? Why would Krampus remember you?
As a Grinch,
The Grinch, even.
as the Grinch, when you get summoned to a new world, you try and find anything that is comparable. You know, creatures that have also been misplaced and the like. And I feel like being so holiday oriented, you know, you described the Krampus, baby, that sounds Grinch adjacent. You know what I'm talking about? So I think after first getting here, I hunted him down, hustled, seeing perhaps a creature I used to be. And, you know, like anybody who sees an old reflection in the mirror didn't like it. So we tussled, but it was a stalemate.
I'm very into that idea. I like that a lot. Krampus has not incarnated on Earth in a very long time, but I think what we could say maybe is that part of your journey into this world, you crossed paths somewhere out there in wherever.
Yeah,
And
we never said I came directly here from, you know, the Hoovers.
Exactly. So the Hooniverse,
Universal Studios.
Universal Studios. Love that.
Cinematic universe.
So you tussled with Krampus at one point, and it was kind of a stalemate situation. I like that a lot. You don't have to share that. Maybe you haven't shared that before. Maybe you just remembered it. It's up to you. But,
I think he has been fuming silently in the corner this whole time during this presentation.
Nice. All right. Now, Morrison clicks the thing again. The slideshow ends. There are no more slides. The lights come on in the room, illuminating you all better. It's still softer, still on the softer end. It's not glaring or anything, but you can see each other. Morrison runs a hand through her hair and sighs and says, and I wish I could say that was the biggest problem we have. But some other things have happened, and it doesn't seem like it could possibly be a coincidence. We had a security breach about a week ago. Been looking into it ever since. We are confident that they got into the archives. As far as we have been able to determine, nothing was taken. But as you know, that's a lot to comb through. Even with these crazy new computers that we're all using.
Those sound a bit like we just haven't heard what they've stolen yet.
It's possible. I will say we've done 2 full sweeps. Nothing has turned up.
Mm.
And we assume this is the work of these people bringing back Besterfung.
It doesn't seem like it could possibly be a coincidence that Dr. Wagner comes to us with this intel right as this happens, right as something goes missing. And there's one more thing. There's a town about as far north as you can get in Norway called Hammerst. Small population. Not the first time it's come up on our radar. Lots of weird stuff. But as of 2 days ago, every child in Hammerst went to sleep like normal. They haven't woken up.
Signs of life still?
breathing.
Hmm.
As far as we can tell, seems like about 150 kids just slipped into comas overnight, simultaneously.
I guess that's why they call it Snorway.
Your sense of humor
Long
is
drag.
sense of humor, as always, is appreciated.
Ella looks enviously over at that pipe. Like,
Perfect. All right, so we got intel from this Mr. Wagner. We know something was tampered with. We don't know whether they've stayed or left. And then we got about $1.50 worth of kids who haven't woken up yet somewhere north of Norway. All right.
It's about the size of it.
If you were us, where would you start? Or would you split us up?
We are sending you. You have a question?
Yeah, archives they broke into. Is it possible they didn't take anything? Is it possible they left something? Like, or is it possible they just copied something down and left? I mean, it doesn't seem like they want a trail.
All of those are possibilities. So far, our manifests are coming up accurate. Nothing missing, nothing left, nothing out of place.
I mean, perhaps we're looking at this the wrong way. These events all coincide. You believe them to be related. What do we have in the archives that could have done this in Norway?
Nothing. And the timeline doesn't match up for that.
I mean, this meeting could have put me to sleep for a while. Let's just go to work.
We will be looking into the security breach here. Bestrafung is something to keep on your radar, but regardless, you are being dispatched to Amherst to look into what's going on with the kids. That's where we need you. And we're sending Wagner with you, just in case.
You're sending Wagner.
Well, in point of fact, he's already there. Yes.
Are we on babysitting duty too, or is he got? Is he? What's the
He's
deal?
not cleared for field duty anymore.
He's not. He never was. So, yeah, don't let him die. But it's not a babysitting job.
All right.
Not babysitting, but he is our baby to sit.
He's an asset. Yes.
Yeah, you're all a
Asset.
bunch of assets.
Yeah. Asses get sat. All right. To Norway then.
Remember when I said Snorway earlier?
Can sleep on the plane, big guy.
Do a hard wipe to your tiny little unstable, shaky biplane taking off that after dropping you in like a snowfield about a mile out from what you can see is a pretty cozy looking little Norwegian fishing town. Kind of sits on the water. You can see that there's like a harbor, maybe a few ships docked there, but a lot of them you can see more that look like they are dry docked. That's the word. Probably because of the weather. It is snowing even harder here, and the cold is, well, I would say the cold is nearly intolerable, but I don't think any of you would have an issue with cold temperatures. So
I was about to say, Sanikov actually, upon disembarking, actually like removes most of his like cosmonaut getup, and is basically just walking around in his skivvies. He looks much happier than you have seen him look in a while.
fantastic.
Lila does not look thrilled to be here or to be cold. I will put that out. I think every step, sort of the snow underfoot sort of steams a little bit. She looks pissed.
I think that Alabaster has the traditional noir, like picks up the collar and just keeps walking, but is walking on top of the snow, just manipulating the ice to give like a better path.
All right. I dig that a lot. Through the swirling snow around you, oh yeah, so you can see the soft lights of the village Hammerst about a mile out, but through the swirling snow, you hear a voice call out, and you see a lone figure approaching out of that blizzard. They're dressed in a parka, very thick, puffy coat that's like pulled in close around them. Their arms are across their chest. Their faces as covered as they could possibly make it. They have like a beanie on underneath that. But you can, as they get close enough, they pull the goggles that they're wearing to protect their eyes up, and you can see the face of that you recognize from the slide that you were shown of Dr. Elias Wagner. And he looks cold, but gives you a friendly yell. Kind of raises his hand as he approaches you. And says, you're the agents, correct?
Well, we're certainly not carolers. Yes, Dr. Wagner, we are who you think we are.
It's Wagner. I'm a full American now.
Right. He, like, with a flick of the hand, kind of just turns the snow to like give a little bit of a bubble that it's still equally as cold, but it's now like less blizzardy, easier to talk and such.
That is very helpful. Yeah, you do that, and he's kind of like mid yell as you do that. So the end of his sentence comes across a little bit louder than he clearly meant for it to, and says, "Well, I'm here to collect you. We've got a house set up for us specifically. If you're ready."
Yes, let's get you out of the cold. Part of our job apparently is to make sure that you stay in mostly the same shape.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm just happy that I could help. I've been doing a little bit of talking to the locals and kind of feeling out the region. A lot of crazy stories about this place, but we'll get to that once we're inside, shall we?
Lead the way.
Okay. And I think we'll do another quick screen wipe as we leave that snowy field behind, and you are in this sort of warm, softly lit dining room in this little, very quaint wooden Norwegian house. It's already decorated. Clearly, you don't know exactly what the situation here is, like whether your agency, whether your division, like rented this, if it's like an Airbnb situation in 1962, or if this just happens to be like an asset that they already owned, or what. But it is empty. There's nobody else living here. There are ample rooms, probably not enough for each of you to have your own, but if you double up, no problem. Couches, of course, as well, sleeping bags, everything that you might need in that regard. And Wagner puts a bowl of some kind of like warm seafood stew in front of each of you, that he was clearly cooking before he left to collect you from the airfield. So, they told you what's going on here?
About 150 kids haven't woken up yet.
Yeah.
Unless you got good news for us.
Wish I did. Obviously, I don't have the equipment that I would need here on hand to thoroughly check, but I think they're dreaming. Tracking REM at the very least. There's expressions are changing. There's a certain amount of restlessness.
Any talkers?
Wow. Maybe one or two, but I don't speak the language.
Anyone here speak Norwegian? No?
I can probably figure it out.
Bomi doesn't
With-
necessarily need to speak.
I was just about to say, at this moment, all of you in your mind would hear a voice that says, maybe they don't need to talk. Maybe they just need to be touched.
No.
I don't. That might be a
Whoa.
translation issue, but I do think that you got a point there, Boomy. Your powers might come in handy.
I just heard you in my head. That's fine. That's not the weirdest thing. But yeah. All right.
What is the weirdest thing?
I apologize. I don't talk much.
Yeah.
This is how I communicate.
Whatever makes you more comfortable. And to answer your question, Mr. Grinch, I don't know.
The Grinch.
Always. That feels
Preferably.
to answer
If you
your
want to be
question.
respectful.
To answer your question, the Grinch. I saw a lot of crazy stuff before I left Germany.
But nothing like this.
Not exactly. No. Worse in some respects. I guess it depends on your definition of worse. But yeah. I can't tell you why this is happening. I have a feeling, like I said, a lot of crazy stories about this place, this town.
How long have you been here? You said you were here for what? When this happened? Right before?
I came in a few days ago, mostly just to get set up, talk to the locals, see if there was anything that I could do before the division sent you in.
Right.
And unfortunately, no luck.
Well, if someone else is here and they're doing something to the children, allowing them to dream, it could be, of course, some interface from people we're hunting. It also could be this is some sort of epicenter. It's just there's more power in this spot of the world. But I think we should probably try and reach out to these kids. I think Boomy's help is going to be essential here.
Yeah.
Anyone else got ideas?
I'm going to take a walk.
You want company on this walk, or is this a lone walk?
No, I think I need to be alone with my thoughts.
We don't have any communication like types of things, do we, in this day and age, or special tech?
Yeah, I mean, you could have radios.
Cool.
Yeah, we could also say we could also do like the Young Justice thing of like
Telepath. Yeah.
Bomi keeping like a connection open between you all. But
I could take one of your scrying devices, the talkie-walkies, or Bomi knows how to reach me.
You have been around long enough to know that they are called walkie-talkies, and I'm sick of having this conversation.
All right, you take this talkie-walkie, and
Grinch, you're no fun. You never have been.
I will
I might go so far as to call you a mean one.
just quickly call out and point out that we did not start with darkness tokens. That could be the Grinch overreacting. In which case you could take between 2 and 4 darkness tokens if you want to.
Me or Brendan?
Well, you, because you're the one who overreacted. Technically, it's overreact with violence, but it still feels like an overreaction to call out your teammate for.
You know what? I'm taking 2
Emotional
darkness
violence.
tokens for that because
emotional violence.
I feel
Emotional.
the Grinch is having a bad day.
Pull the Grinch.
Very fair. Very fair. All right. Cool. Wagner will say, absolutely. I'm sure you're tired from traveling. I think we should maybe get some rest. I mean, if you rest, or it's up to you. I don't know. I'm just here if you need my expertise. If we are going to go talk to some of the kids or try to tomorrow, we may have to figure out something to do about, well, this. And he kind of gestures to Bomi as a large yeti. If there is anything that can be done about that.
You get a lot of 10-footers in Norway.
There's some big boys in this town, but a little less hairy on average.
He's a touring basketball player.
I may be able to make that more convincing.
Tell him he's Danish. You know, they look for any reason to look down on each other.
And worst comes to worst, I pull a big enough blizzard and blind anyone else.
The kids are inside is more my concern, like going into their rooms, trying to connect with them psychically. It's something of some concern. If you have a way to make him look like somebody else, not to talk about you like you're not in the room, I'm sorry, but like I said, there's a lot of weird stories about this town, and the people here are, well, let's just say I think they would.
Superstitious folk. Dr. Wagner, we and my team here have all been around the world, around America, around Philadelphia. We've been transporting Boomy every which way. We can, I'm sure, find ways to either disguise him or move at night. And if there's plumbing, if there's a way to get through the sewers, might be cold, might be gross, but there are ways we can stay hidden.
You're the experts.
I can disguise. We've done this, Boomy. We've done this before. We'll make him.
No one ever wants to go through the filth.
Just give him.
If you want to go
it's
through
good
the
detective
sewers,
work is all I'm saying. That's fine. We can do.
If you think you will find some, for lack of a better word, dirt in the sewers, by all means.
I don't think there's much of a sewer system here, but yeah.
Going down there sounds pretty shitty.
Thank you. The Grinch always welcome.
I like to think I can be as unhopeful as possible.
All right. So, as you are calling it a night, more or less, Sanikov, you are going out walking. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with that. And if anybody else is doing anything in the nighttime aside from just like getting some rest, we can follow up with that. But what are you up to as you step outside?
Sanikov is going to take a stroll kind of through some of the older parts of town and out into the surrounding wilderness a little bit.
Okay. It is not a big town, so it does not take you long to do that.
Yeah. He probably looks a little bit strange. Honestly, he is so thrilled to not be just sweating balls constantly that he has forgotten that most actual humans up here wear clothes when it is this cold. So he's just kind of walking around in his boxers, and I think that the moonlight sort of like reflects the strange oils secreted by his skin that betray him as something other than human. They sort of have sort of a rainbow iridescence, not unlike the aurora borealis.
Cool.
Also, importantly, it looks like his spine was replaced with something from H.R. Geiger. That
That is
probably
very
also
important.
does betray the not human.
Well, fortunately, it is clear to you that Amherst is a town where when it's nighttime, you go to bed. You don't see, at this point, you see very few lights on in any of the houses or in any of the windows. It's very dark, except for the moonlight and the street lights where they exist.
So, Wagner mentioned that there have always been strange stories about this town. So, I'm going to say that the elves, for much of their history up in the polar regions, have had some interactions with people. Especially we're pretty far north in Norway, Wagner said, right?
You are about as north as you
As you
can
could
get
go.
on the
Yeah.
globe.
So we have had interactions with people from the surrounding polar regions, the subarctic regions. Now that doesn't mean I know anything about Amherst specifically, but if there's always been strange stories about this town, if it goes back far enough, looking around just for like context clues of trying to like mentally place Amherst on a map of how his people understood the world, like where was this place in comparison to us, and what did he hear about this place?
Interesting. Okay. I think you are grasping at keys.
I think I am going to grasp at that key.
You are trying to. So normally you would spend darkness tokens. You did go for a walk by yourself. You did leave the rest of the team. One of yours is feel lonely or rejected. So if you want to grab some,
I am going to sort of. I think in this moment, since he is also reflecting upon the experience of his people, that is also necessarily going to involve embracing the fact that he is the sole possessor of this knowledge now, and that once he is gone, it is gone forever. This entire alternative perspective on the planet Earth.
right?
So that is one. I take uno.
You have to take between 2 and 4. It's your choice.
Oh, between 2 and 4.
Yes.
And you have to spend them on that roll, basically.
Nope, you can hold on to them.
You can just have them. All right.
If you have 5 or more after you roll a move, then bad stuff can happen.
Gotcha.
But...
Okay. Well, in that case, I will go. I'll take 4 and I'll spend 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool.
And that comes to an 8.
8. Well, that is a base success.
Okay, and I don't succeed too good, which is important.
Yes, that is good. That is very good. So yeah, you are gonna uncover a key, and let me see here. I have
to keep track of my darkness tokens.
Yeah, got a whole list here. Okay. I think this works, yeah. You reach the edge of Amherst proper, and you're kind of just looking out into the blizzard. Just straight white and snow for as far as the eye can see. And you hear a noise in your ears, a ringing or like a high-pitched noise, something that is far too high-pitched for most people to hear. But you recognize it. And you know that seemingly by chance, Amherst, the village, was constructed in very close proximity to your tower. You know that it's out there somewhere. And you could find it if you wanted to take the time to.
I think he's been away from the tower for so long at this point. He almost kind of forgot where it was. So, yeah, no, I think upon that realization, yeah, he's probably gonna just walk out into the big white to search for the tower.
So I will be clear, the key is the noise that lets you know the tower's in proximity. When I say that if you want to spend the time to look for it, it's not gonna be a quick thing. You're not gonna find it tonight.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You'd have to make it a process.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It hides itself, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, I think he'll see if he can get a sort of a triangulation on like the direction he needs to go in. Um, and then we'll probably return to the others.
Okay. All right. You go out for a walk. You return. The house is probably much quieter than when you left, although it wasn't particularly loud. But I think I know Kit, you potentially had a thing.
I do. Would you like to do that now?
Yeah, we might as well.
Hell yeah. So I have a little move that for legal purposes is supposed to happen at the beginning of a session, but this feels like an appropriate place to do it.
Yeah.
Called Devil's Advocate. So I think as Sanikov is off doing his little walkabout, I think Lila sort of, you know, gets up from the table perhaps before the rest of folks and just sort of goes to find a quieter room, goes to find some place where she will not be a bother and the rest of them will not be a bother to her. Um, and that shadow that has been following the entire time follows with. Um, and she's just gonna sit down and have a little chat with her grandma. So this is if you're familiar with the little match girl, this is the grandmother who has come to take her away. And who just exists as sort of a mentor now in this way. So I think having more of the information that we have now on sort of what's going down here, what our actual mission is, she's sort of sitting down with this shadowy sort of figure. And I think there's just a long moment of silence where she's sort of waiting for the shadow to speak, to say something of import, because usually there's some sort of grandmotherly wisdom or what have you that is maybe a little bit too ooky spooky for a grandma, but you know, we live in the world that we live in.
You do.
So I think she just sort of sits there for a moment. What do you think of this?
I think I'm going to need you to roll before I tell you that.
Okay, fine. All right, 2d6 and hope, I guess. That is solidly a 6.
Nice.
Have fun, Will.
Nice. Yeah, no, absolutely.
For those at home,
Fantastic.
that's not good.
It's not. You do,
Not great.
I believe, fail forward in the system. I do not recall if that is true, but I think it is.
I think so. Mayhaps. That's up to you to decide. You're
no,
gone here.
I guess. Yeah, okay, I guess you do not. I am mistaken. Whenever a move tells you to, or there is an opportunity, and there's an opportunity to earn XP at the end of every session. So, shoot.
Okay.
No failing forward. We're in Urban Shadows territory here. Apologies to the assemblage. Very cool.
Finally.
On a 7 or below, you receive a dire warning or difficult orders. So, the shadow is quiet for a long time. And then I think maybe it sort of resolves its shape into that of an old woman. Probably only something that you can see. Who says, Is it so bad? Sleeping and dreaming?
I think
When the world is what it is?
that is far from what Lilith was expecting, especially from this figure. Sort of shocked silence for a moment. You and I both know the dangers that come with dreams, come with illusions. What can happen to you in the interim? They deserve the chance to do something with the rest of their lives. Is that not what we're here to do, Mama?
I think for the first time she turns her eyes to you. She looks at you and you see how tired she is. Tired she looks. And there's a certain amount of bitterness in her voice as she says, "The world is ending, child, by inches, by degrees. You can only stave it off for so long. If this is the end, let them rest."
But if it is not,
This one or the next one, what difference does it make?
how do we know this gives them rest? Your attempt at rest did not work with me. How do we know this attempt will work with them? Valiant effort or no, we don't know that this will work. We know that giving them a chance gives them that chance.
I can feel it. Their nightmares are gone. Their dreams are pleasant and peaceful.
They're not resting. Not truly. They're dreaming there is room for it to go wrong. Like there was room for me. I think it is not possible.
At the end of the day, you will do what you think is right. But no, they may not thank you for it.
They may when they are older.
She kind of tilts her head in acknowledgement and breaks your eye contact, and her form sort of melts back into just shadow.
As she sort of disappears, there's a look of, wait, don't go. And the face that has always, as long as any of you have known her, has looked like a grown ass woman. There's a second where it flickers and she is that child again. And then it is back. And she nods. And she will return to the kitchen because the dead don't sleep.
Speaking of the dead not sleeping, if we have room, I think by the time that they return, Alabaster hasn't touched any of the food. Dead also don't eat. Pushes the warm food away that's completely gone cold by now, and just heads outside in the snow, whips up a little bit more of the flurries and looks up at the moon as well and sits down kind of eyelessly, still smoking, and then says low, before I say it, I have a move called My Dark Patron. And I would like to spend a ruin to talk to my hat, my harbinger. So I take a long drag of my pipe, and as the smoke's escaping his lips, he just goes, "All right, you devil, is this you or one of your friends?"
Oh, it is not me. You are my agency on this world.
Yeah, that's what I figured. If it was icy, I'd know who it came from, but which one of you in charge of dreams or sleep?
Unfortunately, there are endless possibilities, but as always, it would be my pleasure in helping you to stop this.
I've been doing this for so fucking long. What more could you pull out of me?
I think by now you would know this is a poor way to bargain. You tell me what you want from me, and then I will tell you what I want as payment.
Remember something my mama said about making deals with devils, and here I've done. All I do is seem to make the deals with you.
It's a little late for that.
What's reminiscent between two friends? What do I want? I want a way to wake up these kids. I want a way of making sure that they're all right. And I have a feeling you can make that a little easier. And I still got bits of my soul left. More than happy to offer that. What, you want me to do a little blizzard? I'm sure Florida doesn't need any of them oranges. I could just do a blizzard. Unseasonably cold weather in Texas. What do you want?
I will tell you what you want to know to the best of my abilities, my considerable abilities. But your soul, it grows stale. There is little enough left of it to entice me.
Listen, I can feel it. The strings are getting barer and barer with
Yeah,
every
just
season.
fucking grip it and rip
I've been
it,
doing this
baby.
too long.
Sorry.
Slop
You
that
just got a
down,
donation?
dude. Shit, yeah,
Hey,
dude. Crack one
um,
for the big boy.
Thank you so much for the
Yeah.
donation.
Thank you. So I know we ain't got much time left. So this is the last job. It's the last job. I could use the rest. Just tell me what you need.
To that end, just one of them. Anyone you pick, it does not matter to me.
No, you can't be serious. You telling me 149 of them kids get to wake up and one gets to take my place?
Perhaps eventually. Our time together is not over yet, but one day.
There's a moment, like it's been decades and maybe even longer. The mind has been so taken every time that Al uses some of these powers, a bit of his mind's and memory gets taken. So there's been so much changed that this is mostly a husk of a person. The corpse, the body, it's just not there. So there is a part where Al thinks about it. And it's like that could be years, that could be days, that could be anything.
That is
And
up to
before
you.
is this I have to say yes or no now, or can we just, I have you on speed dial?
It is like any of our bargains. If you commit, I trust you to follow through. But I will say, you know me. I take nothing. I only offer.
Yeah. I'll think about it. That's the best I can do right now.
Very well. I will
Yeah.
be here.
Yay. You never give me any peace. I know where you are. And I think at that point, just kind of tilts his head back and lets the snow just fully fall on him. And that's where he's gonna wake up. He'll make sure to go inside by sunrise, so no one else sees him.
Hell yeah. Okay. Bomir the Grinch, are you turning in for the night? You're muted, Jamie.
I'm eating the soup that nobody else ate.
Just 5 bowls of soup.
5 bowls. Well, I don't know, but maybe Bomi had
That's true.
his.
That's true.
But I'm eating those 3, abandoned theirs, and that just then basically fell asleep on the table.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good soup.
Lila just walks out like, oh, sweetheart.
Glad someone enjoyed it.
Snoring loudly. I forgot my CPAP.
Bomi sees everybody sort of getting up and leaving the area, and he almost gets a little bit, becomes more comfortable in the solitude, because it's all he knew for a long, long time. So I think what he would do is probably get up from the table and go to the living room and just sort of maybe sit crisscross applesauce and just sort of sit there and focus on his breathing. Because when he was in that tomb for so long, he couldn't even see his own hands. It was just him and his breath at that point. And he is just going to go back to that same spot and close his eyes and focus on his breathing and just be with himself in that solitude.
Love that. I think we will fade to black on that, on Bomi's breathing. Let the picture fade to black, and then all that's left is just the sound of Bomi's repetitive breathing until even that stops. I think we'll take a break here. Come back in 10 minutes to pick up with the day of investigation with our monsters here. So don't go away. We will be back very soon. See you soon.
horrible
Fine.
corpses.
Yeah, that's a very monster.
But
all-
I did have a weird moment where I stopped being afraid of randomly dying. I'm just like annoyed that I won't be able to like play certain video games or see like certain like that's what bothers me. But if
We
I
all-
just died, if I just
Yeah.
keeled over, I'd be like, oh, thankfully I won't have to work a job anymore. Like that is legitimately what I'm thinking about.
But I can't
It's
play
just-
Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
or
You gotta
insert
beat
video
it, I
game
guess,
here.
before you like
Yeah.
my main thing is like my big worry is like, oh god, I feel so bad for my family having to go through my comic books. That is like the thing I'm worried about. Is
I
being like
died,
those
but
are
immediately
organized.
erase browser history. You're fine.
Blast
You
my
go
cat.
out like a baptism in Catholic. Like you're
I do have some
good.
subscriptions that I need somebody to go through my phone and cancel real quick.
I can't die. Karlak needs me.
Exactly.
I don't know what an
You know what,
Astarian is yet. I can't.
I feel like
Yeah.
Lae'zel will be fine without me, I'll be honest.
Oh, Lae'zel's gonna be totally fine.
I was going to put it back to the earlier part of the conversation. So my parents sent me to a child psych to try and determine if I had ADHD. After about a year, they gave back their diagnosis, which was he's just kind of a weird little fucker. We have no idea. This is also the year that I was in Catholic school, and I was kicked out of Catholic school for the cardinal sins of being both weird and poor.
See, they'll
Oh.
let you be weird if you're rich, but immediately if you're weird and
Yeah,
poor,
exactly,
like
yeah.
they cut that shit right. It's really more the poor thing.
I got to stay because we were
You can't
weird.
pay tuition. We don't want your weird kid.
Yeah,
And my parents could stuff like that's why I get to Catholic. So like your kid is weird as hell, but
but
you can afford to pay for the school so that your weird kid can stay. And then I ate gravel in the playground.
yeah, fully made it their problem for the rest of the 12 years I was there.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But look at all of
Yeah.
us now. You know,
Right.
Yeah, we're all.
You can't go to Catholic schools. You can find your own gravel and
I mean,
Store bought is fine.
make your own. Make the gravel that
Homemade
you
is
want to
best.
eat in the world. You know,
and then I'll get my salt taken care of. So it's like win-win.
is that
Yeah.
where?
oh yeah, the salt content of gravel is well documented.
Mhm.
Noted. Noted.
Whoa, what a time
Oh
to
wow,
get
yeah,
rated.
an excellent
Hi,
time to get rated.
welcome.
Welcome,
Just talking about
Raiders.
immortality
Yeah.
and
Talking about death.
the burdens of Catholicism.
We're talking about neurodivergency and death.
I was gonna say,
Welcome
go
to
ahead.
the stream.
I was going to the burdens of Catholicism now. Say, wait.
We're
That
playing
Kingdom Come, that
Apocalypse
Kingdom
Keys.
Come
Is
isn't going to
this-
be back until March.
Kind of.
No, the Kingdom Hearts isn't coming out with a new game anytime soon.
We have to
Kingdom
stick
Hearts
around to
pie.
play the new one.
As a Kingdom Hearts girly,
I don't
Yeah,
know what
you-
a Kingdom Hearts is, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
you're better off. The series just turned like 20 this year, and then I
Yeah.
died
Me
a
too.
little on the inside.
And honestly, they never really tell you what a Kingdom Hearts is.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
where the hearts go.
All,
It's where
it
your
though?
light is.
In
And it's
which
also
game?
inside you.
all,
And also, is that the one where like Goofy's there? I don't.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one.
and
In the
Goofy
second-
his shirt off.
Goofy
And-
fucking dies.
In the second game, Goofy just gets clocked by a fucking rock, and they have a very
Spoilers
intense
for
cutscene
Kingdom
about
Hearts 2.
Goofy is dead.
They shit like
Goofy
that.
dies,
Too.
and
Why
then
on
he
the
goes
anchor?
ape shit.
And then 10 minutes later, Goofy's like, I'm fine. No one checked my pulse. I guess
It's basically Goofy drops, is making death saves, and Mickey's like, oh, time to do some more crimes. And then we go straight, and then he's fine. Resurrects, totally cool.
And then
Hey,
Sephiroth
chat, the
is also
emotional
there.
whiplash that I just
Sephiroth
Sephiroth is
experienced.
also there.
And also Sephiroth is there.
What's a
I mean,
Sephiroth?
he's like nearby when
Final
Mickey
Fantasy.
is going
Every
apeshit.
time
Like
we
he
go
is.
live, I'm crying. I can't.
It just
Y'all are gonna
Look,
ruin my
all-
makeup, and it's not even with trauma, drama, or feelings.
all I
It's
know.
Goofy.
All I
Listen.
know about Kingdom Hearts is that when you walk away,
I will kill
and
you.
You don't.
I will
hear me
kill
say,
you.
Please.
Chat,
oh,
help! I don't know what's
baby.
happening.
Oh, I will say, full circle, Utada Hikaru, is that the name?
Yeah.
Non-binary icon.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't realize they were non-binary.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That was
Good
a
for them.
fairly recent
Okay.
thing. In like the last like 5 years, I want to say.
Okay, gender.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
gender's
gender.
made up and the points don't matter.
It's true.
Whose
It's
line
true.
rule applies to gender? I don't know if y'all knew that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of whose line is it anyway? TikToks? Anybody else getting that?
Yeah.
Clips. Never
Get a
sure
lot
if
of
it's just
dropouts.
me. Yeah,
You're not
I get
alone,
that
baby.
too. Cool. Glad it's not just me.
I get a lot of whose line and horny. Those are my And,
It's
and
based on your algorithm, so that makes
Sometimes-
I'm perfectly
Together.
happy with what it gives me.
It's
for the
when they
record.
start combining the two, that's
Excellent.
when I'd get concerned, you know?
Uh,
You're
you know what?
sex positive.
Wayne
a
Brady
feminist.
came out as queer this year,
yeah,
and
pansexual.
honestly, I think I have a shot.
Honestly works. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Roll your dice.
Oh,
right.
I'm gonna roll all kinds of things.
No, okay.
Yeah, we got
Speaking of rolling stuff,
that.
Oh yeah, we're playing a game tonight.
Maybe we
shit,
play
we're playing a
Apocalypse
game.
Keys.
Oh shit! Are we
This isn't-
live?
this isn't
Are we
just a talk
streaming this on the public internet.
Yeah, this is on the internet forever. I hope everybody's okay with that. It's too late to do anything about it now.
Just don't tell my mom.
I won't tell her. I won't mention
Everybody,
it.
get your mom in chat right now.
Our weekly brunch meetup. I won't mention it.
When she pays you for being my friend.
Aww.
I legitimately had that paranoia as a child,
We don't have
and
time
as
to
an
get into
adult,
this.
it's still kind of there. All
Look,
right, let's
if
play
there
the
was a
game.
mom offering that deal, I am doing.
We could be here all night if we start getting into insecurities and fears. So, a new day dawns over the Norwegian fishing village of Hammerst, as far north as you can get in the world, basically. The snow continues to fall. It is not super sunny as a result of that, but it is brighter. Where should we... Are y'all doing anything? I'll say this. Are y'all doing anything before you go to see these unconscious sleeping children?
I am giving Bommy a makeover.
Okay.
As we do. I imagine this is a thing that we have done before. It's sort of an established like morning routine. Like we get ready for the mission, I do your makeup, etc.
I also feel like it's also like getting a toddler dressed. Like he doesn't
little
want to
bit.
be dressed, but
he knows he has to
he
be.
fights it all the way, but he knows he has to be. Yes.
Luckily, I have magic, so I do not have to force socks on your Yeti feet. But
I was going to ask if this is like a literal makeup thing or like a shadow magic thing.
it could be both. You know, we could get zesty with it. I was intending for it to be the sort of shadow magic that we've sort of skewed into, if you're familiar with the lore, TM, the sort of illusory holiday festive magic, right? So I'm illusorying him into not an 11-foot tall terrifying Yeti.
I mean, I'm
Um,
down, of course.
so- I don't know how physically this will affect our good friend Bommy. I don't know if he's actually gonna be like 6 foot and not 10. You may still have to duck when you enter an abode, right? But I can just make you a dude if you just want to be. What kind of dude you want to be? It doesn't have to be a dude. That's a general term. Dude, gender neutral.
I think what you know, I would put it out to the group. Like I would just because Bommy, I mean, he doesn't have much contact with the outside world at this point. So I think as
Is this a montage? Are we doing a montage now?
yeah, we definitely montage it. Like getting I want to no, I feel like at the end of it he would look like the shopkeeper from Frozen.
This is all I wanted. Thank you for giving me this. I think like we've
And-
had like an
Incredible.
established rhythm, and then it's just everybody else on this new team is like, no, wait, but what if you, and it just keeps coming back out, and we just send
Yeah.
back shopkeeper vibes.
Yeah, so at the end he would look like the shopkeeper from Frozen to try and fit in with this Norwegian town that he's in.
Very, very cool.
Like, we get a
So-
yoo-hoo. teach you to speak one human word with your mouth, and it is yoo-hoo.
Amazing. So then I think where we are going to begin is as the door of one of the houses. Where we will begin is as Dr. Wagner reaches into frame and knocks several times on one of the doors. And as you're kind of standing there waiting, looks back at you all and says, I met these people yesterday as I was introducing myself and trying to gather some information around the town. Elna Soli lives here. She is... I don't think this town has a mayor or anything like that, but I think she's about as close as it gets. She knows everybody, it seems like. And sure enough, the door opens shortly after that. Elna Soli is standing there. She is a small woman, but she carries herself like she is not small. Shoulders are very square, feet are set very wide apart. She has blonde hair, probably like mid to late 30s, if you had to guess. Her hair is blonde, but it is so blonde that it is almost white. Not with age, just that's how it is. And she has very soft features, a very sort of round face, but her eyebrows are knit, and she clearly has not rested in some time. She looks exhausted. And she looks out at all of you, and I imagine that the rest of you have taken some steps to at least sort of like put hoods up or something similar to at least try to look not so obviously weird. But her gaze sort of drifts over all of you and Wagner, and she nods and says, "Come in." And the house is very quiet and still, very cozy. There are pictures on the walls, some family photos, very old, clearly, and a few that are more recent. You can tell because they're in color, even if the quality is pretty grainy. But you can see there's one in particular that's like on the wall as you start to go up the stairs. That was taken right here in the house. You recognize the couch in the living room, and Elna is seated on it. And then there is a little girl. It's kind of like the mirror image of her, just a younger, like duplicate of her, seated next to her on the couch, and they're both like smiling. And yeah, as she leads you in, she says very distractedly, "Can I get you anything?" Or
I'm sorry, point of order. This child is awake?
no, no, that's a picture. There's a picture
Oh,
on the wall,
okay.
photograph of the two of them seated together.
Mm. Mm.
Al is got a little bit of makeup on to try and mask a bit of the blue skin and cracking and stuff, and just says, "Ma'am, we're here from America to try and help. I'm sure good doctors already explained a little bit of our purpose, but we heard about some kids who haven't woken up. So we're here to try and help where we can. Any information you can give, and timelines, people, strange things happening, all be very helpful."
Normally, I would have questions about what interest America has in this issue, why you are here, but if you can help my daughter, I don't care.
We're certainly going to try, ma'am. She in this building? Your home?
Yes, I will show you her room. She will lead you up the stairs to a closed door. She opens. Beyond is a little girl's room, clearly. You see like stuffed animals, toys around, but it's very clean. It's almost like disconcertingly clean. And sure enough, like under the covers in the bed is the little girl from the pictures that you saw coming up the stairs. Elna like pauses by the door and lets you in. Says, I'll be downstairs if you need anything. And Wagner looks at the rest of you and says, I'll make sure that she's okay. If there's anything I can do, call for me, but I'll leave it to you.
Give a nod, and Al locks the door as soon as they're gone, closes the drapes and such, and just does basic security like a PI would do. Set up the room for everyone else to act.
I think Lila has sort of gotten distracted with like some stuffed critter that is either on the bed or next to it, and sort of picked it up, just sort of staring at it, but will sit on the foot of the bed next to this kid. Imagine there's like, I don't know, some stuffed critter like a rabbit or something, that a kid would have. Just sort of sets it next to the sleeping kid, and there is a soot finger mark on the bunny. She is very distracted, but sort of just like looking to Bummy, like, is there anything that you need preparations wise?
In your mind, you would hear Bomi just say, no, I just need to be near her. And he'll turn and look at the sleeping little girl. And I guess this is what I'm going to do. You can't hide your heart from me. I'm going to take 4 darkness tokens and spend 2.
Cool.
And we'll see what happens. Hopefully my dice don't treat me like trash. So that would be 9 plus 2. That's an 11.
Sure is.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
11s are 11 and higher means that you do it, but you fail to fully control the darkness inside of you, and some bad stuff is going to happen along with it. I will say this could be an opportunity for somebody to spend a bond. Bonds are spent after you roll. You could also spend the bond with yourself if you want to, and you can give yourself +1 or -1 for a bond.
So I'm gonna use the bond that I have with myself.
Cool.
With the wisdom of the solitude that I've been with, and I know just how much to detach from somebody when I do this.
Well, that's very good, because this is a little girl, and on an 11, your mind bleeds into theirs, and I get to tell you how their heart is corrupted by your power. So good use of a bond there. So then, you sense more under the surface. You can ask 2 of the questions. What do you wish would happen? What are you hiding? What are you truly afraid of? Who or what do you love above all else? How can I make you trust me? Or what don't you realize you know?
I would like to ask them, what do you wish would happen? And I also want to know what you don't realize you know.
Okay, cool. I do have to check on one thing with that. Just that I might have spaced that weirdly. I mean, it's going to happen either way, but there you are, the found. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's the one. All right, awesome. So, just to be clear, what don't you realize you know is not a question that I will answer for you. Instead, what that is you get to draw a line between one of the keys you already have, and you only have one, with a facet of the mystery, and you can declare an irrevocable truth about the mystery that cannot be changed or altered throughout the rest of it, even when you try to like open the door and solve the mystery. So just so you know, if you want to do that, then I'm fully down, but you only have one key currently.
Okay, then let me... I'm going to switch that one for how can I make you trust me?
So it's how can I make you trust me? And then your first one is what are you truly afraid of?
No,
Or-
what do you wish would happen?
What do you wish would happen? Okay, cool. And how can I make you trust me? Okay, cool. So then what I'm going to say is that, Bomi, as you connect to this girl's mind, the room that you were standing in kind of melts away. And this isn't unusual for you. You've done this with people who are sleeping before and kind of like entered their dreamscape, such as it is. And as it melts away, it resolves, and you're prepared for anything. You've seen some crazy shit in people's dreams before, but it resolves into that same room, a little bit messier, and your companions are not there. And the girl is fully dressed, and she is sitting on the edge of the bed, just kind of like kicking her feet. And she looks happy. She looks content. She cocks her head sort of quizzically at you. Clearly, she can see you standing there, and she says, "Hello. Who are you?"
My name is Bomi.
It's nice to meet you, Bomi. My name is Margaret.
Margaret, do you know where you are right now?
She laughs a little bit and says, "Well, of course I do. I'm in my room."
Were you visited? Have you ever had dreams where you've been visited before?
Oh, I used to all the time, and then they stopped.
Do you know why they stopped, Margaret?
No, but I'm glad they did. They were scary. You don't seem scary, though.
He sort of gives a chuckle. He's never heard that before, and it sort of warms him. I'm glad that I'm not scary. Could you describe to me the scary?
Well, one time there was a wolf, a big, dark, scary wolf. Another time, a man yelling a lot. Trolls that wanted to take me away from Mama.
Hmm.
But they're all gone now.
That's good. I wouldn't want anything to harm you. You seem like a nice child.
You seem like a nice child, too.
Thank you. I think Bummy's trying to figure out if she has seen what has put her into this deep slumber, and he doesn't have quite the right words for it.
Yeah, I think what to answer your other question, because she does trust you. Like, you are not scary. The way that you approached her was not scary. She seems very trusting, but she will say, "Are you going to stay here with me?"
I can't stay here a long time. We have a little bit of a time to chat, but I'm trying to find and help not just you, but other children in the town. They seem to all be asleep for some reason. A deep sleep. We don't know why, but we're trying to figure it out.
Well, why not? It's nice here.
The problem with staying asleep is that sometimes it can worry the people who care for us.
But I'm fine. So
I know.
being
I-
awake is scary. And
Hmm.
my dreams used to be scary. And they're not anymore. There's nothing scary. So
So,
I'm going to stay here.
okay. Well, I will do my best and make sure nothing happens to you while you sleep. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Sleep well, Margaret. And I'll pull out at that point. And then I'll tell telepathically to everybody in the room that she does not know that she's asleep. Or she knows she's asleep, but she doesn't have any realization that it's not nightmares or anything like that. It's just a deep slumber. She used to have nightmares, but now this is just a sleep where there is no reason to wake up.
Hate that.
She
I get it.
mentioned something about not wanting to wake up because it's not scary. I could see a couple different things. We could look for any of the other local children and see if they're also in this state of limbo. But if they are, we're in a mighty fine predicament. And I'm open to any ideas, but a force kicking them out of a place that they want to be doesn't exactly line up with what I want to do. But if we have to get scary, we can get scary.
Nothing wrong with a little scary.
Problem is, this sounds like something that we know this town has had problems before, and may have been impacting this child's dreams, could be impacting everybody's dreams. So for that to have stopped, it makes me wonder if there is some sort of experiment that could be going on, something that's interfering with these children's sleep. This rhythm that they're put in. It's almost like they're under a spell.
You think this is a testing ground for something bigger?
I don't know any folks who just want to do their plan in 100-person village in Norway, but yeah, I think this could be a testing ground. Small towns like these, it's easy to get away with something, test on a lot of people, try and do something bigger. You know, if there's something to do with radar or some newfangled technology, I wouldn't be surprised.
Something they're doing that we're not seeing. I think
Exactly.
sort of turns around, and now that there are not any grown-ups to tattle on us, the shadow, is ambulating of its own accord. I think she sort of looks back like she's listening to it, although none of you can hear if it's saying anything in return.
Do we
Um,
know about your shade, or is that
you
completely
can
like,
see it. You can
yeah,
see that it is a shadow that is ambulating of
and
its
that
own accord
moves?
typically, and yeah, and it
Yeah.
vaguely humanoid for sure.
I was just
I don't
gonna have Al like to give a little nod to the shadow.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's
Like
implied that
we're
this is
partners. Yeah.
a a humanoid entity,
Mm,
doesn't ever has never spoken that y'all can hear,
yeah.
and has never, like, fully manifested in any way other than just, like, shadowy shenanigans.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's adorable. Um, yeah, I think Leela just sort of, like, gets up from the bed and sort of walking around, this, like, shadow sort of following and just sort of, like, listening as if she's hearing things, having a conversation that's not happening out loud. Um, and I think Bommy looked inside the dream. I want to look around out here. I would like to use Death Walked here. See if I can't see something else that's
All right.
going on.
Sick.
Death reaches all places and into the hearts of all things. You seek to reconstruct events or learn something valuable in an area. Roll for this. I think that's pretty solidly what the attempt is.
Love that. How many darkness tokens do you want to put in this?
That's a great question. I've got a couple at this point. I'll throw 2 in there. What harm could 2 do? Right? I
Yeah.
say. And then shenanigans ensue, I'm sure. Hmm? Oh, good I did that. That is a 7 plus 2, that is a 9. That is solidly success.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Whew.
Uh,
Did not want to fuck up this little kid's room.
So, Death is going to show you exactly what happened here. In addition, you draw Death close to you, and you ask 2 questions that Death will answer from that list. And you have you have that same option available to you in the last one. Draw a line between a key and a facet of the mystery, and declare an irrevocable truth about the mystery. And I don't know that I introduced the facets before we started playing, but they are basically the different factors of your mystery as it stands here. So you have keys, and then you have facets, and at the end you kind of try to tie them all together. This is you being able to declare something to be true before we get to that point. So there's the robbing of the vault is a facet. The deep unending sleep of the children of Hammerst is another one. And then there is the tower, the harbinger, and the door of the apocalypse.
Oh, snap. Okay. Um,
Currently, you still only have that key that is the high pitched noise, but
mhm.
you could make like a declaration and say that this key absolutely goes to this thing in this way, and then I have to be like, "Yep, that's true." Um, but to
Uh,
start with, what I will tell you about what happened here, because Death shows you exactly what happened here, and so I think what the rest of you probably see maybe is the shadow kind of engulf Lila. And Lila, what you see when that happens is the world, there's kind of this like gray filter that's put over the room. And I think you can see, though you don't know the time or the date exactly that this took place, but you see the child still sleeping in her bed, except something is being drawn out of her. Something, you can see these sort of vague dark shapes, one that kind of looks like a wolf and one that sort of looks like an angry man's face, that are being pulled out of her. And you actually see them, it looks like they're being sucked into the mirror that sits on the opposite side of her room. You can ask 2 of those questions.
okay. So I think you all see sort of you all see Lila sort of cock her head and walk over to the mirror and look into it. And I'm going to ask, what glimpse beyond these events can you show me?
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. You gaze into the mirror. You gaze into the mirror, and at first, you do see your own reflection looking back at you, like you might expect to, but you realize that it's like kind of distorted. And then you also see there's another reflection of you when you look into it. Like you're seeing multiples of yourself, and it's almost like when you look. It's almost like when you're in a room or an elevator where the walls are all mirrors, and you could just kind of see it going on and on forever in every direction. Except that, like every so often, as you gaze through the mirror, you see more of those like dark, almost amorphous forms pass by, and it takes you a second to figure it out, but what you are looking at, you realize, is a room or like a chamber full of mirrors and also full of nightmares.
Can I oh man. Oh geez. Is there any sort of indication that like one of us could like something tangible-ish could go in there?
I think you
That
know it's
information you
not
want
a
to give.
I think you know it's not a portal.
Okay.
Somehow, intrinsically, you know that. Um
It's just a view of someplace else.
yes. Yeah. And it's yeah. It's a view of like wherever her nightmares were taken.
Okay. All right.
I will also say this is a key.
Okay.
Uh,
The
the
mirror,
key
the room?
the key is reflections that show only nightmares. They stare back at you in judgment.
Snap. I think I want to draw a line, if I may be so bold.
You may be so
Um,
bold.
I I would like I'd like to do that. I think I will draw a line between this mirror, this place, this reflection of nightmares, and the tower. I think the irrevocable truth here is that that is where these things are going or being stored or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. I think that makes total sense. So then in that case, uh, what I will say at that point is that your view of this mirror chamber kind of pulls back, and you see that it is in fact a chamber. It's almost a circle, or not a circle, like a sphere almost that you can see from the outside. It just looks like panels, but you know that those are mirrors on the inside, and I think you get a glimpse of like crystalline structure, ice or crystal, you don't know, but uh, you can see there are large, thick cables hooked into that orb, hooked into that sphere of panels. I think that's the last thing that you see, but you do get that glimpse of like the tower, basically. Whether you know what the tower is, this may be something that you have to bring up with the group before you come to that conclusion, but it is a truth about the mystery now
It
that
is a
is in
place.
the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the sort of the image in the mirror sort of clears. Whether or not it goes back to what a normal mirror should be is, up to interpretation. Um, but if they haven't given them something, they've taken it. They've taken the bad things, the scary things, they're keeping them somewhere. I think it is far, but it's not here.
So someone's siphoning off these bad dreams, essentially? These kids? Sounds like it.
So?
I mean, I'm sure there's powers and dreams and powers and nightmares, and who knows where we go when we dream. But I guess we should find this tower. Might have more answers there.
It's not what's doing this, it's certainly benefiting from it. May at the very least know more.
In Sanikov, I don't need to specify this probably, but you recognize that description.
I know this place. I sensed its presence when we arrived. It was mine, if I can be said to have any true ownership of it. It belonged to my people.
One of your people capable of something like this?
Describe again what you saw.
A sphere, a panopticon of mirrors, attached to something else. I couldn't see all of it, but could see out. It could take.
For it to see out is... Yes, it could. This was a watchtower. Once. Its purpose was to see other places, was to watch across all the vistas of this world for signs of the encroaching enemy, to reach through and take something, to siphon off these slices of the mind. That is different. That is a corruption.
It's a mighty powerful thing to be able to reach into someone's dreams or souls and read their intentions. So if someone went in and corrupted that type of power, does sound about right. What we're looking at. Do you have any idea where it could be, or?
Last night I was able to determine a direction, though knowing that this is connected to the Great Panopticon. That is something. And Will, I would like to try something. So, you mentioned that this, this sort of mirror was not strictly speaking a portal. My question to you is, could it be though? One of my powers that I possess is dimensional phasing. And I am curious if that in concert with the connection that I have to the tower, could potentially basically let me uh turn this mirror into a window. Basically, can I uh exploit that connection in order to basically open a way for us back there? Or at the very least, if I can't directly open a portal, if I can uh get a more fixed position for the tower that we could get to. You are muted.
You're correct. So what I'll say is, I'll say that you could. Here's what I'll say: you could try that if you want to, but there are a lot of factors involved, and based on the description that you've received, the fact that there are machines plugged into this,
Yeah.
it's very risky.
Yeah,
is what I will say.
That makes sense. Like I said, this is a corruption. This is something has fucked with this. So it's not gonna work exactly the way that I think it should. That absolutely makes sense.
So if you want to try it, you can, but there's a disastrous potential here. Also, it sounds like whatever Lily described is like containing stuff. You don't know that even if you can get in there, that you'd be able to get out.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Well, so if I can't use it as a portal, can I use it to get a more fixed? Can I use it to maybe drop a pin?
Let me take a look here.
I may have a shenanigan way for us to help find the tower, and if you're able to like drop a location, I might be able to help us out here too. So
Also, I'm willing to, I'm willing to accept the Rammies. I mean, potentially,
oh, there will be
disastrous,
Rammies on my
love 'em.
choice.
potentially disastrous consequences in my Apocalypse Keys one shot.
No, crazy. What I will say is that you can, if you want to try to do the drop a pin thing, I think that's going to be grasping keys.
Okay.
So
I will do that.
Okay.
So, and I will spend a. Let me just, am I doing anything dark? Not really. No, not really. So I will spend one of my remaining darkness tokens for a net +1. Let's see how this goes. Well, it could be better. That is a 5.
Yes, that could be better.
Could be better.
I find more than I was ready for.
You sure do.
I may choose to mark ruin to uncover a key, but in doing so, it will reveal how you come closer to becoming a harbinger. Yes, of course. Of course, I'm
Yes,
marking
of course.
ruin.
Mark a ruin.
I shall do it.
And
how many spots are on my ruin track? 5. Okay. All
yes.
right.
You have a moment of oh fuck. What if this is how they do it? What if this is how you wake up the god that slumbers under the tower?
I did have a sneaking fear about this. Yeah. What if this is how we return Santa to the material realm, and resurrect the elves at the expense of humanity?
Yep.
It's a bold strategy, Heinrich. Let's see how it plays out for him.
Incredible. Incredible. I love that. All right. So in that case, yeah, you do find a key. You do find a key. There is a bookshelf in the room, in the little girl's room, and there are books on it, as you would expect there to be. Most of them, obviously, children's books, in Norwegian. But you spot something that does not belong there. A folder. Like a manila folder. Just tucked in amongst those picture books. And if you take it down and open it, then what you find inside is your own psych evaluation, heavily redacted. But one of the passages that is not redacted, as you read through it, it states that you spent a whole session listing latitude and longitude coordinates and saying nothing else. And that all kind of comes flooding back to you. That's where the tower is.
Mm. The fortnight I spent in a fugue. Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. Speaking of a panopticon, this does feel moderately like an invasion of privacy. I also, confessedly, am a little bit curious how it ended up on this little girl's bookshelf. Hmm. 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 Well, the good news is I know where the tower is.
Well, that's great.
Is there bad news?
Is there bad news?
Oh, the bad news is literally everything else. But we don't really have time for that right now. So
I would. We time details are good
We should make
historically.
time. We can walk and talk, but
We could walk and talk, yeah.
Yeah, we can Sorkin this. Come on, buddy.
mm,
The Grinch loves Studio 60.
Of all of the Sorkin pulls.
Complicated man.
He
It's
contains
fair.
multitudes.
Contains multitudes, truly.
I do feel like we should probably also sit down to have a longer conversation with Dr. Wagner.
we can bring Feller out if we want. We
You're
feel like he's
supposed to be
danger.
keeping him safe.
Oh no, I think we should keep him safe, but I think that we should probably um interrogate what he knows about was it the German name that I'm forgetting. Bestrafung?
Yes. Bastrafung, I believe.
Bastrafung?
I believe so.
Okay. I know it means punishment, that's all I know.
I thought the sumbitch was suspicious from the get-go, so I'm certainly down to have a nice chat with him to get more information.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily. I suppose everyone can interpret interrogation the way that they want. The word I'm looking for is it's a little hard to translate from the original Yiddish, but Balmy, you know what I'm talking about. Just something between a friendly conversation and an inquisition.
So what I will say, also, I will put this out there, that Elna is downstairs with Dr. Wagner. And so you've heard a lot of references to there's weird shit that happens in this town. There's weird stories about this town. If you wanted to talk to someone who would have information about that, / talk to Dr. Wagner, this would be a very good opportunity to do it, but that's up to you all. with this, speaking just as a structural point for the game, you could head to the tower immediately and potentially try to get some keys there, but you do not currently have enough keys to attempt to open the door. And the more keys you have, the easier that roll is to not fail. So.
And we are at 3 keys, 4 keys at this point?
You have 3 keys
3
currently.
keys, okay. Well, there are people downstairs.
I think it would behoove us to talk to him. I know time is of the essence, but I'll leave that up to y'all.
I mean, I can play bad cop with the good doctor.
If we need a good cop, I guess there ain't one, but I can do my best.
Slightly less bad cop.
Right. PI, not a cop. Just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
let me make sure. Very different.
Unaffiliated
Yeah,
investigator.
I do not
I'm a
have a
cop.
monopoly on state violence. I just want to make sure everyone knows. Anyway.
I'm officially ordained as a police officer
You would be, wouldn't
to
you?
Whoville. I'm a corrupt sheriff in my
Are you
hometown.
sheriff of Whoville?
Sheriff
Hold
of
on.
Whoville.
You heard it
Going
here
off the
first,
rails
folks.
already.
Official Grunch lore. Grunch lore, sorry.
The Grinch
Egad.
lore is deep and horrifying.
It's darker than we could have ever imagined.
It's true.
He has a badge.
You can't make the Grinch worse.
yeah.
Hold my
The
beer.
Grinch just
I don't-
rolls up his sleeve and you just
Oh
see
my-
his tattooed badge number on his arm.
Stop. Yeah, I mean, this really explains why he's always saying green
Yeah,
lives matter.
I was gonna say like one green line through it.
No, we can't. Take it back.
Agab.
Agab.
Oh,
Uh,
Grunch.
Man, not sure if I introduced myself before. I'm Detective Alabaster. I work with Dr. Wagner, and this is my associate. Introduce yourself.
I'm the Grinch.
Good, we're using our government name. All right, this is my associate, the Grinch. Now, I don't know why I'm slipping into a Benoit Blanc.
Peculiar.
Now, if you could tell us some questions, or tell us some questions, if you could
Could
answer
you
some
tell
of our
us some
questions. If you could answer some questions,
Do you have any
specifically,
good riddles?
We love a good puzzle.
good pun. If you could tell us a little bit about the history of this town. We've heard about some crazy stories, but could you enlighten us? What were things like recently?
And nothing's too crazy. Go deep. Let us know exactly what you've been dealing with. No stories too absurd.
We've heard a lot.
This town has seen just about every strange thing I could imagine, but I think you'd have to roll to grasp keys for me to tell you anything more specific.
Oh, you know the game mechanics? That's going to make this so much easier.
Excellent. Do you want to roll, or should I?
How many darkness tokens do you have?
I have 0.
I have 2.
So if you're talking to 2 different people about 2 different things, this is probably 2 different grasping rolls.
Oh, okay, fair.
Okay. What do I roll if I got nothing? Nothing?
Just 2d6, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there must have been some point where you could have justified, you might have felt overwhelmed or numb when the hat asked you to basically kill a child.
Oh, yeah. If we want, I'll take 4 and then just say I saved him.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cool. So if I took 2 tokens, it would be rolling 4?
If you took 4 tokens, you can spend as many as you want. Each one basically gives you +1.
Oh, it gives you +1. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll spend 2.
Okay.
Oh boy. I rolled 10 plus 2 is 12. That's really bad for me.
That's true. Bond is not going to fix that. That's going to put you at an 11. So
Now, I have a move called the Hard Eclipse. Oh, that's whenever I roll a miss. That's not anything higher. Nope, have fun, boss.
it's not a miss. Yeah.
No.
If anything, you hit it too good.
You did. So you uncover a key, but there's a significant complication, cost, or fallout, and I will tell you what it is.
I was being a good cop.
You were being a good cop.
No such thing. The
It's
game
true.
said so.
It's true. Hey, Gab.
So many of these could work.
Oh no. There's probably a box that says nothing bad happens. That's probably a good one.
That
I think. Yeah.
probably is one of those, right?
Yeah.
Where's the "It's all good" box?
Yeah. Shit's fine, fam. We're
Actually,
good.
this one you get this one on the free ski.
Yeah. Super chill.
Actually, fine.
Okay. Things have a way of finding their way here. Like they are drawn to Haz-Mas for some reason. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but it seems every day I walk through this town and I find something that does not belong here. It happened just this morning, actually, on my way to the market. She gets up and she moves over to like the side table and reaches into a drawer and she pulls out something that's wrapped in like a tea towel. And she brings it over and she sets it down on the table and she kind of like unfolds the tea towel gingerly and she says, "For example, and the key that you find is a German-made pistol from the war. Something about it looks impossibly familiar."
Now tell me if this is a little too much, but I imagine if I touch it, it's warm. Everything else is cold, but like especially if I touch the muzzle, like it's almost maybe even a little hot to touch.
Yes. Yeah. Feels like it's just been fired.
Yeah. Kind of rubs his chest area, almost like our icy friend is overheated a little bit, melting and then refreezing. That is mighty strange. She takes it and like tries to keep it cold. I've heard of places that are like magnets for the strange and bizarre. There's a small town in Oregon, little state up on us, attracts all sorts of weirdness. It could be a similar type thing.
We have many legends and stories, trolls, chief among them.
Right. Any legend? What do the legends up here talk about trolls? They just turn to stone in the daytime? Things like that?
There are different kinds, and there are old stories of trolls and then newer stories. The newer stories tend to be more for children, sillier. The old ones, more, what would you say? Norse.
I understand. I got one more question if you'll spare me the time. Did you ever suffer from nightmares as a child?
Constantly.
You and your family, friends used to have a lot of bad nightmares?
Well, every child has nightmares.
Supposedly. Have you been still having nightmares, or did that go away when you got older?
I don't remember my dreams.
Mm. Those are all questions that I have. My colleague, the Grinch, I'm sure, has other things.
My
But for that
colleague, the
scene, like that's
Grinch.
yeah.
You got a problem with me being a professional?
If you want, while that conversation is taking place, you could like, I think Dr. Wagner offers to like put the kettle back on. Like they were drinking tea when you came downstairs, and he offers to do that. So he goes into the kitchen if you want to like follow him in there.
Yeah, I'll
just so this
follow
is-
while that's happening. I'll play
Yeah.
bad cop with him.
Yeah.
Doctor.
the Grinch. Yes.
You
Can I
know,
help
we've
you
been
with something?
here for a little bit. First of all, you make delicious soup. Do you know that?
Thank
Really
you.
top notch. I'm sorry the rest of my team didn't give it a chance. And the rest is going to like bend his whole hand back so that it's basically like touching his elbow.
Kind
And
of
then,
shudders involuntarily.
Gonna like crack unseemly while he's doing it. Just kind of staring at his fingers while he's doing it with the fur kind of popping out. You know, Doctor, with what we've been encountering so far, a lot of it points back to your old project. And I'm not a patient man. Now, you're the reason we're here, and you need to tell us everything.
Would you like to roll to grasp for a key?
Yeah, I mean, that I will, but I feel like I rolled well enough. I'm going to spend both my darkness tokens on this.
All right.
I got 10.
Very cool. All right.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. That's
okay,
just
cool.
shy of being too much. So
Cool.
You're good. He sort of puts his hand close to the side of the kettle and like feels to see if it's still hot, like if he needs to heat it up again. And seems like it is, because he sets the mugs down and he doesn't respond immediately. He pours the hot water over into the mugs, and without turning to look back at you, says, I'll be honest, it feels like you're trying to intimidate me, or threaten me, or accuse me.
I'm glad that comes across. You're very suspect, Doctor. Do you understand that? And, I mean, here I was worried that I was being too subtle with the fingers. But the Grinch will pick up one of the mugs and just crush it in his hand like it is nothing and say, if you'd like, I can do that to the kettle in your hand as well, but that is more expensive to replace, and my per diem is only so much.
I left Besteron before it even started. And I came to America on their invitation to help stop the atrocities that were being carried out in my home country. And I was absolved of guilt by your, or maybe their, courts.
And you know what? At the time, that may have been the case. But you left. Doesn't mean you don't come back. And it's not like you're exactly loyal. Considering who you used to work with coming over, what's stopping you from jumping back? Maybe people that rubbed you the wrong way were already taken care of. Maybe you decided it was your time to run the project. And then the Grinch is going to like slowly be getting closer to him while he says this.
He turns and faces you at this point. He has 2 mugs steaming in his hands, and he does his best to like look you like eye to eye and not back down. You're terrifying and
the
horrific.
eyes are like bloodshot and yellow. So like,
Yeah.
good luck, dude.
Yeah. He's doing
I
his
won.
best, but he does kind of like tip his jaw back up, and he says, "I learned a thing or two about bullies before I left Germany. So just know that you may scare me, but I have nothing to hide." And he will walk past you out of the room, but you see that when he walked in, he sort of slung his jacket over a high-backed chair that's like pushed up against the kitchen counter. And you sort of spot something, the corner of something sticking out of one of the pockets.
I will snake my upsetting. Actually, I put the jacket on and then
Over your
rip
trench
it.
coat?
I rip it like fat guy in little coat. I straight up, I am a bully. He's right. And now I've learned that you got to go to a tailor, buddy. But while I'm doing that, I put my hands in the pocket and I pull out the piece of paper.
All right. It is actually not a piece of paper. It is a little plastic ID badge, specifically for your division.
Hmm.
And it has a picture on it, but it is not a person you recognize.
So it's not Wagner.
It's not Wagner, but it is a security badge.
What's okay? Well, I'm gonna pocket that. But what is the dude? Can I ask what the name is? What they look like?
There's actually no name printed on it, just the
okay.
person's picture, and then like an ID number, like a random string of like 6 digits.
Take the coat off, and I put it in my pocket. But the Grinch will be like, "I have got to get this to someone else. I will absolutely lose this in like 30 seconds."
Okay. So after those conversations, I believe you are collectively up to six keys, 5 keys, maybe. I don't know. I think you had
5.
3. Yeah, maybe 5.
I think we had 3 when we came down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then you found the pistol and the ID badge. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I thought the third was the pistol. I may be incorrect. Yeah, the ringing, the nightmares,
Ringing,
pistol.
nightmares.
The tower, is that a key?
No.
There's a facet.
Okay.
The
Different
what
This one more.
Oh, the sorry. Yeah, your own psych evaluation.
yes, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So 5. Yes, I believe.
Muted, that's why.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to confirm that we had all of that. Is 5 how many we need to start unlocking stuff, or?
So here's what I will say: you need 4
Okay.
to attempt it at all. When you unlock Dream's doors, you basically take your keys and connect them to the facets by saying what you believe the door is, and like how to unlock it. Basically, what the mystery is. So you roll and you add the number of connected keys minus the mystery's complexity. The complexity is 4. So you need at least 4 to even attempt the roll. Right now, you would have +1 to do that.
Got it.
And there are no darkness tokens, bonds, or moves that are allowed to add a bonus to that.
Cool. I shenanigans idea. I have a power called I Am Your Destruction. When I allow power to surge and cause great collateral damage, I can ask the keeper what catastrophic destruction I cause, and I can choose 2. One of them is reshaping. The destruction reshapes the environment, creating a golden opportunity. So if this power is surrounded by a blizzard, I could potentially clear a path for us. But we're talking catastrophic damage. And
I love it, and I think you should do it.
yeah, exactly. I can also, so I choose two. That's one of them. The other is I can uncover a key, draw a line between a key and a facet, and declare an irrevocable truth about the mystery.
Yep.
We could fast track this. We might destroy the town.
I don't live here.
I have my understanding. Oh, I'm assuming we're having this conversation away from everybody else. Also,
Yeah,
yeah.
This is
Don't need
probably
to threaten
not
to
a
kill the town in front of the
conversation.
town.
This is probably not a conversation that you can have below table,
yeah.
because what this move represents is the Surge like fundamentally losing control of their powers. So if you want to talk about it above the table and decide if that's the direction you want to go in, absolutely. But in character, this is not something that you can really like weigh into Alabaster's decision.
Yeah, this was more me above the table being like, I could end this shit real quick, or at least expedite us to a point where we're at the tower.
Certainly true. I basically, what I was going to do is I was about to potentially have one other angle that I could potentially, if we wanted to try and bump our keys up, I could potentially try to go for one more.
I also have a potential to go for an additional key if we want to do that before we blow up the whole town.
I am definitely down for like waiting to use my thing.
Listen,
we'll
I'm
just
all mass destruction, but
I love like the open the way move for the Surge. I've used it. It's great. I love it.
but the
I will
rabies,
say, for the record, I'm fine with it. The Grinch may actually be weird about it.
yeah, I'm fine with it. My character will have opinions and
Oh
thoughts.
yeah, no, for
but
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just want that to be understood that the Grinch is like not going to be like, cool. He likes children, so murdering a bunch of children will be weird for him.
Absolutely.
He likes children, not like, oh my god. He is children are pure and good people, and he doesn't want any harm to befall them.
Yeah.
Very pro children.
I think then you'd notice Alabaster's just like getting more and more withdrawn from it, getting a little bit closer to the ice, but isn't doing anything just yet. I want y'all to do your keys things that you want to do, but whenever we're ready.
My understanding is your conversation with Dr. Wagner seemed to suggest that he did not possess any particularly close knowledge of the purpose or goals of Bastrophone. Is my assessment correct?
He said he left the project early, but I don't know. He also has I'm gonna secretly like I'm gonna toss you the ID. That way it's not my responsibility anymore. He also had this on him, and that's not him. So I'll say this: I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. I mean, phrase: I don't trust him as far as you can throw him. I can throw him pretty good.
This is fair. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to attempt to find the post office and a phone that I can use.
Okay.
You gotta call Mick.
I will return shortly. I must call Russia.
Naturally.
Right.
I don't care about the Cold War. Do what you got to do.
To Russia with love.
Sanikov, XOXO.
Do you show everybody the ID badge or just toss it to Sanikov?
Are we all having this conversation together?
I think you hit it to Sanikov. Sanikov kind of doesn't really know what to do with it, and I think maybe hands it to Al, just like.
Do I recognize, being one of the more veteran people, do I recognize the face?
You do not.
Okay. I'll hold on to this. I also show it to I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting your name. Kit, your character's name.
Lila, yeah.
Yeah, I passed it to Lila. You've about been as long on the force as I have.
Bomi, Do we know that Bomi knows more about the running as well, or is that something Bomi keeps close to the chest?
Regardless of whether you know that Bomi is connected to a team of psychics back at HQ at all times.
Everyone, I'll make sure everyone gets to see the ID. How's
Cool.
that?
Perfect.
I have a question for you, Sanikov, but if you're going to run an errand,
I can certainly
will you be
field the
back?
question before. Oh yes,
Are
no,
you
I'm.
returning? Is that the intent here?
Oh no, I'm calling Russia on the telephone. I'm not physically going to Russia.
You know, you never know with this team.
That's
Truly.
fair.
I just had a thought, I suppose. You said the doings of this panopticon are not typical from what you remember. But the corruption, is that something that your people could have done? Something they would have had reason to do? Any of them?
This corruption, it was not there the last time that I was there. And the last time that I was there, all of it was a tomb. In addition to being a watchtower, it also acts as a headstone, as you might call it, for the graves of my species.
Sanikov, I am proof that death does not work in the ways that we expect it to. If one of your people had means to corrupt this, could they have done so? Would they?
It is possible. I do not know to what end this is done, but it is possible that this could be done with an aim towards my people are not the only thing entombed there. It is also the resting place of the betrayer.
Is this something they would have done then?
They are dead, but the betrayer wishes always to return to this plane of existence. And I, like all of my people, remain as ever in its thrall. I possess an imperative which compels me at all times to commence forthwith with its resurrection. I have thus far been able to delay this compulsion through a variety of chores and distractions and deviations. If another of my kind does still exist, I do not know whether or not they would be able to similarly. The compulsion cannot be resisted. It can only be evaded.
So if one were to still be, this compulsion might request of them something like this.
It is not beyond the realm of possibility.
Understood.
Incidentally, now that you mention it, once we arrive at the tower, if this is indeed the imminent resurrection of the betrayer, let me define another term, the one you call Santa Claus, then I cannot guarantee beyond a shadow of a doubt that my evading and delaying will stand up in the face of such imminence. I wish to make clear, if I attempt to resurrect the betrayer, you must destroy me. I do not relish the thought of the total and utter extinction of my kind. But it is perhaps a preferable outcome to certain alternatives.
That's what you want, we'll honor it. And I think there's a coldness that Al says that with someone he's worked with for years, just without a thought, yeah, I'll kill you. That I'd love to take 2 tokens as I'm completely like numb, if
Hell yeah.
you would agree. 4 tokens. That's your wish. That's what we'll do. That's what I'll do.
Before I forget, I didn't think that this was going to be relevant, but it turns out, if indeed we are confronting something akin to the resurrection of the betrayer, Al, you may wish to know that. How do I put this? Your hat.
Little devil, yeah. What about it?
You and the betrayer have a similar taste in haberdashery.
That's so. Could be a coincidence. Could be more.
It is not. But nevertheless, I must call Russia.
I will say that, not trying to drag this out, but regardless of whatever you decide to do with this information, I think at the very least, Lila and Sanikov have revealed their hearts, or at least have attempted to reveal their hearts to each other. You've tried to sincerely connect to someone, to each other, basically. So, if you want to put darkness tokens,
keys, that works.
I mean, you can still do that. This is just something that happens because you
we're broing out.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to spend darkness tokens if you don't want to. You can if you want to. It's up to you.
Yeah. All right. Go roll it. All right. That is nope. Don't get it.
How many darkness tokens do I have? I got a lot through that conversation. Yeah, let's throw 2 on that bad boy. See what happens.
Well, let me see. Unless I.
That's good that I did. This is 7 plus 2. That is 9.
Cool. All right. So Lila, your heart reaches Sanikov's. You can choose one. Actually, okay, I missed this text. If they are a PC and they choose to deepen the connection further, so really only one of you needed to roll this. We can count.
In that case, I say it should be them. I volunteer them as tribute.
Yes, I had
Noted.
That's
a very gracious.
Cool.
Yes. So, so you can each choose one of the options. You grow closer and gain 1 bond. They soothe your heart, clear condition. They taught you something important, mark XP, or they gave you hope, clear 1, mark of ruin.
Well, I don't have a lot of these things, and we're not going to use one of them, likely. I want to grab a bond with the last elf of existence.
Sounds good.
Imagine I didn't realize we were revealing our hearts, but I feel like very poignantly talking about death and its effect on Lilith, I think that that face that has flickered before, it flickers again, and you see clear effects of frostbite on a much younger face. I think that is revealing enough. Like death is inconsequential here. Don't worry about it, kid.
Like that. Sanikov, are you also getting a bond, or what do you want to do?
I'm going to clear my 1 marker of ruin.
Okay, very cool. Cool. So you have that nice moment connecting with each other. You feel a little more hope than you did before. And now, a bunch of you had some stuff that you wanted to do. Keys to be grasped. Bomi, I don't know if you wanted to contact the psychic invokers to see about the person's ID badge, but
Yes, I was thinking
Okay.
that if I just read the ID badge, that somebody in the psychic network that I can connect to would know whose badge it was, or if it has gone missing, something like that.
we could definitely check that out. So you do, when you take the move, you do have to answer one of the questions. Who is the psychic invoker you have a good working relationship with? What is their specialty? Who is the psychic invoker you don't always get along with? And who is the former psychic invoker whose telepathic powers burned out while connected to you? How do you care for them? It's a one shot. It's getting late, but if you have an idea for any of those, feel free to throw it out there.
I think there is a former psychic invoker named Cornelius who burnt out while connecting with me. And I probably make sure that they're in the facility and they are in a room where they are basically just a vegetable. And I come and visit them and make sure that they have food and basically hand feed them. They don't realize that I'm in the room. They don't know, because I'm alone and I know I'm used to being alone. It's okay because I can just be there, take care of them, and then leave at that point.
That is very beautiful. And so you have to decide on a scale of 1 to 3 how much psychic vulnerability you are opening yourself up to, which will determine if you succeed, how many questions you can ask.
I'm gonna open myself up to a 2.
Cool.
Pretty vulnerable here.
Fantastic. So then in that case, you're going to roll and you're going to add 2 for your level of psychic vulnerability.
6 plus 2, so it's an 8.
6 plus 2 is an 8. Cool. Yeah. So then it registers within safe parameters. You contact the psychic invokers and you can ask 2 questions. In addition, you gain 1 bond with the psychic invoker in question. It's not going to be Cornelius, but if you want to make up a name, you can have 1 bond for that. So what past event is directly affecting this investigation? What lie was born recently? What will most likely happen in the future based on current probabilities? Or what truth has been hidden? And you can pick that to declare an irrevocable truth. Oh, this one's different, actually. Sorry. Declare an irrevocable truth based on this one. Rewrite or add a facet of the mystery that reflects this truth.
I'm not good at writing on the spot, so the truth that has been hidden is probably off the table.
That's fine.
I would like to know what past event is directly affecting this investigation, and I'm asking that based on the badge, and I'd like to know about the vault robbing.
Okay.
At that point. And the other thing is what will most likely happen in the future based on current probabilities. Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right. So you connect to these psychic invokers who are always kind of plugged into everyone who works for your division, or rather are capable of like scanning everything, scanning everybody. And so I think what you get back is a memory, but it's not your memory. It's from someone that you don't know immediately off the top of your head. And obviously it's from a first person perspective, so that doesn't help you in that regard. But I think you get a flash of meeting the person whose badge this is. You get their name, which isn't super important. We'll say that it is they're called we'll say Evans is their last name. And in this memory flash that you're getting, you shake their hand, you say welcome aboard, they say thanks, I'm excited to get started, and then you say we have a very special assignment for you. And then the next flash of the memory is you sort of leading them down further into the depths of the division and into a room that is taken up. Actually, there's a lot of open space in the room because the only thing that's actually in it is a sort of tube running ceiling to floor in the center of it. Thick cable sort of plugged into it. You can see that it is snowing inside of the tube. And suspended inside of that tube is a Christmas elf. Very much like Sanikov, but not Sanikov. And you tell Evans, that his job, his basic responsibility, his one job, is to keep an eye on this thing and make sure that it doesn't wake up. And I think at the end of that, you get a flash of what will most likely happen in the future based on current probabilities. And you get a flash of snow on the ground and broken pieces of wood and glass and broken pieces of like wood and glass and pages, torn pages, and just trash, just like detritus scattered across the snow. You kind of like this future vision sort of pans across it, and amidst all of the rubble, you see lying there the little stuffed like rabbit toy from the little girl's room that Lily was like playing with while you were there.
Has Sanikov already left?
I'm going to say yes for the sake of expediency.
Perfect. When I disconnect from the network, I will tell everyone in the room telepathically that Sanikov is not alone, and that the badge belonged to Evans, whose lone job was to keep another one of Sanikov's species in stasis.
All right.
I will also let them know that I asked for a future prediction based on current probabilities, and all I was shown was destruction, and among that I found Margaret's stuffed rabbit.
I can't keep doing this. It can't happen again. Can't. You describe like the snow and everything, right? Like everything falling down. Al just like rubs his temples, wipes the sweat from his brow that's really just melting ice, and uh I know what can cause that, and I know that it's me. And being in a place like this, that's the type of destruction that what brings me power. Damn devil on top of my head. I could flatten this whole town and probably bring us directly there. And I could do it in a blink without even knowing. Do you think there's hope that I can not do that? I believe that's a move where I can ask for something when I reveal my heart.
Yeah, you can reveal your heart.
Yeah.
You're gonna roll with darkness tokens.
Sweet. I have 4. I'll use 2. 6, 8.
Okay, cool. So who do you see this with Bomi? Because
Yeah.
Bomi. Okay, cool. So perfect. You pick one. You can gain a bond. You can clear condition, mark XP, unmark a ruin. Bomi, you can do the same thing since you're a PC.
Can you list those options one more time for me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you grow closer, gain 1 bond on Bomi. They soothe your heart, clear 1 condition. They taught you something important, mark XP. Where they gave you hope, clear 1 mark of ruin.
Got it. I'll do the bond. Cool.
Bond with Bomi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grow a bond as well, I think, with
Very cool.
Al. Cool.
And as that happens, Al, why leave it up to chance?
You're always listening, little devil, ain't you?
A bargain was not complete.
There's a phone call from Russia that we still gotta hear back from, so...
I will be waiting.
Sanikov.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say the thing that verbally comes out is you always are, but then...
You were calling Russia?
Yes, so I think, what Sanikov is doing is going to go to the town post office to borrow a phone, and is going, specifically he's going to, from Norway, call Sweden, and then Sweden, being a neutral party in the Cold War, is then able to patch in a line to the Soviet Union.
I'm so glad we know that.
Yeah.
I had to think to myself, well, wait, could I even make a call? And I was like, wait, no, you can solve this problem, Brendan. You're that kind of nerd.
This is pretty derivative of Stranger Things season 4, Brendan, but I'll allow it.
Did I actually see season? No, I have seen season 4. But
We're allowed a little
yes.
derivative as treat for
Maybe
morale.
season 5 also. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I've
yes,
lost
you
track of
can.
them.
Are you grasping a key? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, I am calling a. I'm going to say that Sanikov has remembered where he has heard Bastrafung before. that obviously his given name that he goes with, it goes by, is Russian. He spent time in the Soviet Union when he was discovered by a Soviet nuclear icebreaker on Sanikov land, and he has an association with a occult scientist in whatever the Soviet equivalent of cheer is, and he remembered him mentioning Bastrafong, and he was a scientist who had been brought to the Soviet Union from Germany as part of Operation Oswovyakim, the Soviet version of Paperclip.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. So yeah, spend darkness tokens and roll as you choose.
Right. Well, that's a 10. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. So finally you get to somebody who actually seems to be able to help you and tell you what it is you're looking for.
And basically, it was so Wagner left early, but this other scientist was there later, let's say, and might be able to give us some insight into, okay, so what was Basterfung trying to do actually?
Okay. Okay. So yes, what a strange coincidence. It was only a few days ago that somebody brought me intercepted transmission with questions about Bestrafong. Name I have not heard in a long time. You have pen and paper?
I can remember it.
So, what was intercepted was, and placed before this man, was an itemized list of equipment, which was in German, and then translated. It appears to be a lot of, as you might expect, scientific equipment. Some of it very expensive, and some of it strange. So that's the key that you get. But one more time, what was his name you say?
Anglicized it to Wagner, but Wagner.
There was no Wagner on Project Bestrafang. I am sure of that.
You're quite certain? Supposedly, he defected rather early in the project. Maybe it was before you joined.
I would remember. It was a small, close-knit group. Maybe fake name, but no Wagner.
Thank you, Vasily. As always, give my love to your children.
Okay, will do.
As always.
Yeah, Sanikov's always calling Russia.
Friendly guy.
It's just weird being like, hey, how are the kids every time?
He's got guys in places. Don't worry about it.
He's a Christmas elf, okay?
Yeah, it makes sense.
He
It's just,
sends them presents every year,
Yeah.
obviously.
it's just as always, just immediately it's just like every time?
Every time.
Every time
Santa
you get off
Claus
the
the
phone
true
with him?
neutral
on the
party
nice
in the Cold
list.
War.
He does not want them on the
Yeah.
naughty list.
There
It's
you
actually
go.
a compulsion. He has no choice but
He's
to say
addicted
it.
to wishing children
must-
well.
It's part of the
Yeah.
curse.
Just wish them
Yeah.
well and send them gifts. It is his way.
Yeah.
How he stops the horrors.
Exactly. So,
Intriguing.
yeah, another key that you have found. which I believe, brings you up to 6,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
And when
So
that'll give us +2.
that will give you +2 to open the door if you would like to try to do that.
That was my last idea in terms of things to poke with a stick. So
I mean, I can go for some door opening.
Are you going to tell us about the content of the conversation?
Yeah.
Yes. When Sanikov returns, will explain the strange list of a very highly specific equipment that Vasily believes is definitely related to Bastrafong, and also Wagner ?
So, if we want to try to open the door, Kit has been so kind as to put the facets and the keys into our Discord chat. Basically, what y'all do is you draw lines from the keys to the facets, and basically you tell me what you think this mystery actually was, what the solve for this mystery is, as far as vault robbing, the kids like not waking up, the tower of ice that has the sleeping god underneath it, and then the harbinger, who the harbinger is, and what the door is, what the way to stop them from coming into the world is. And then we get to roll with +2 because of your keys to see if you are correct or not.
Do we have to
So-
get to the place to do that, or can we do that here?
It's a pretty like nebulous roll. Like what based on the results, we'll decide what happens from there.
And can we discuss about this as a group, like above the table, or is this
Yes,
like you roll
it basically
Okay,
has to be an above the table discussion.
yeah, cool.
I mean, I assume the ID badge was used in the vault robbery, potentially.
Maybe?
That would make...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
that makes sense.
how up to date the system is, but also we might be dealing with a face stealer anyway if there's no real Wagner. So
Well,
Well,
Wagner
and
could be.
also-
Wagner had the badge, so he could be Evans.
oh, gotcha.
Oh, it could. The badge could look like.
Somebody who had access to those archives, because
And,
as
he
we
could have even
know,
just lifted
Wagner is not does not have clearance to a lot of the things that we have clearance to.
And also keep in mind, I will just say, this is not you trying to solve a mystery that I have written and created and know in my mind. So there is no wrong answer
Oh,
necessarily.
You just have to make
Unless
something
you-
funny, goofy, and then
yeah,
roll
unless you roll badly, then it's the wrong answer. But whatever
it.
you guys think happened is potentially what happened.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Sanikov's psych eval, I mean, he's the harbinger and we have to kill him.
Cool. Stop. Dead.
Very interesting twist.
You know, I'm not saying you're wrong. So
Or there have been psych evals stolen on all of us and many more, and this was accidentally read to the children as a bedtime story, and it was so boring that they fell asleep forever.
Or,
And
I
that
mean,
is tied to the sleeping children now.
the psych eval, I mean, go back to that, like bringing that in, that could be like what is used to get us here for whatever reason. Maybe one of us is the harbinger in that regard.
and that so the psyche eval is used to manipulate us into getting here.
Yeah, and we just happen to have yours, but it's potential that like I mean, all of us are fucked up.
All of us really could
yeah.
be had the
pistol.
potential.
We could potentially say that the pistol maybe makes Alabaster the harbinger.
Oh, that I mean, literally smoking gun
Yeah.
is
Literally. I mean, and we have 5 facets and 6 keys. Like, we're not going to use them all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat. I'm
or do
gonna
we have
Ethan.
to?
You don't have to. It's up to you.
The ringing could be. Oh, I'm sorry, Will.
I was just also going to put out, as far as harbingers are concerned, Santa is been brought into the mix, and Krampus also obviously has been mentioned.
Right.
But yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, my assumption is that it is Krampus, especially with the whole nightmares and the plot of the film Krampus being very nightmare focused.
Yeah, I think like the ringing is probably like the sound of whatever device is being used or manipulated in the tower.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. That's siphoning off these dreams. The vault robbing, I think, makes sense that they either let loose the guy, or if Wagner is somehow involved, I think it makes sense that let loose a mad elf and is helping them somehow.
It could also be that the nightmares are how like the door is open, like you collect enough, it's like a battery basically that unlocks it
Mm.
Yeah.
and releases the harbinger.
I think like we know that Wagner has harbinger potential. That's why the USA brought him in to the division.
Yeah.
We know he has the potential to do it. He just
Mm.
doesn't have the clearance to be on the streets.
He just doesn't have the talent for field work like the rest of us.
So exactly, right? Not everybody's cut out for it.
The
We're
people
talented
skills.
and
But
we're talented
the
and
vault
beautiful.
robbing could have been for that equipment that he needed.
Yeah.
He could be on his own harbinger bullshit already.
I mean, the vault robbing itself could have been a distraction. Like, hey, someone broke into the vault. No one's going to notice like this other equipment that maybe wasn't necessarily stored in the vault taken.
It's true.
You
If
know,
everyone's
it's a red
focused
herring.
on the vault, then no one's focused on the elf that's no longer being watched.
Yeah. Either way, I think we can tie the vault to
Yeah.
I think we've got enough here to
got some
if not
theories.
Wagner himself, someone stealing his face potentially, and as also by the ID. I mean, who knows if Wagner was ever really real? It could have just been.
We know
Wagner was
illusory
created by
magic's a
Soviet
thing.
Russian.
Yeah.
I've actually been puppeting Wagner this whole time. He's not real. He's one of my illusions. Don't worry about it.
All right,
Okay.
so time to kill the match girl. No,
I just
So
kill
it's a-
everyone.
Again? You can't kill me?
I'm the Grinch.
I'm a bad bitch.
What is dead may never die.
So it
I'm
sounds like
already
what,
dead.
so it sounds like what we think happened is that somehow Wagner used the ID badge to like get whatever was needed out of the vault, whether or not it was the elf or like some piece of equipment that they couldn't get or whatever, out of there, and then brought it here. He did arrive before you all. The nightmares are being drained from the kids as a way to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the device is that door then. And so the way to stop it. So the only real remaining question I have is who is the harbinger?
I'm actually going to say that it is Wagner who is also the elf and is going to try and assume their final form of Krampus.
I like
Oh, shit.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna
Nice.
fight Krampus.
Dig that.
Goo.
Grinch
Wanna go fight
versus
Krampus?
Krampus. Grinch versus Krampus.
I love
Good
that
with
a
you.
lot.
Hear you.
I think that's very cool. So then, if that's the case, someone gets to roll.
I mean, I feel like since this has been revolved around elves and such, I feel like maybe
I can roll it, yeah.
Brendan,
I
how
ju-
has your dice luck been this round?
It's been middling.
Okay.
And we don't add darkness to this, right?
It's-
We
yeah,
just
you
add
can't
our
add
key
it.
it's
point.
points.
just a flat
Yeah.
two.
The plus
You
Extra
can't
key
add
points.
anything to this.
Stick
Yeah.
gnarly. Good luck.
Yeah.
What do we need?
Don't fuck
Is
it up,
there-
bestie.
We need a 7.
8 to 10.
Oh God. Okay.
What
Good
happens
luck.
if we get 11?
Specifically.
We do
Don't.
If you get an 11, Grinch versus Krampus.
Grinch versus Krampus.
What did you roll?
Hey, Brennan.
Oh God, it's
Oh,
bad.
How those dice looking?
Oh no!
I got a 7.
With that, is that plus the 2?
That's plus the 2.
You got a 5.
Oh!
Can we add a bond to this?
You can't modify this.
What if
can't.
we?
At all.
Shite.
Well,
Whoops.
Is
Alright.
finding out
Ew.
about the elf not a key in its own way?
Oh,
It is. Wait, what do you mean?
there is an addition, potentially an
Would
additional
the
elf.
whole? Did we add anything from Brendan's conversation?
No, that was not a key. That was
Oh, okay.
just one of the questions Bob could ask.
Oh,
Bomi could
okay.
ask from the
Yeah.
from the playbook. So yeah, unfortunately, not a key.
Yeah.
Cool.
And all be keys.
Okay,
No.
well we're fucked.
We tried, you know.
I mean-
Maybe Grandma was right.
oh, things are feeling a little chilly now. Things are feeling a little cold.
It sure is. It sure is.
I'm fine. I'm
Again.
built for this weather.
Well, it's been fun, y'all.
Pieces will face the worst possible circumstances. Great.
I
Grinch
feel like
versus Krampus.
maybe my gun's heating up.
How we doing on that doomsday clock?
So I haven't been using the Doomsday Clock because this was a one shot. But obviously, this is an appropriately dramatic moment. I'm going to say that this fills the Doomsday Clock. So the Harbinger has claimed the power of the door, and the PCs will face the worst possible circumstances. So What is going to happen? Oh, JD. Oh, JD. It's far too late for that. It's far too late, both literally and figuratively.
Plus one, Will. Plus one.
But he used 10,000 channel
Good
points.
stuff, Will.
It is an external thing
right.
that
You
we
need
do.
good stuff.
I know what the good stuff is. All right.
Oh gosh.
Here's what the good stuff is. So,
Okay.
Yeah, just fucking rip it, baby. Slap that down,
donations
for a reroll. Dude, crack one for the big boy. Oh, boy.
Rip it, rip it, boys.
Desperate to save this salvage
Fuck
this
your
situation.
story.
Fuck your. It's Christmas.
Oh boy.
Chat has spoken.
I mean, Will is a god king beholden to no chat,
true.
but
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
We
I assume, given the circumstances, the Rammies, there will be additional rolls made at some point.
yeah. This
I
is
will
a
not be
weekend.
bullied by some effeminate, soft-voiced person.
Let him cook. Let him cook
Start a
is what we're
street war
saying.
with me, buddy. Bring it on. You're gonna be surprised by how messy it gets. You don't even know my name. I'm the fucking lizard king.
He's the fucking
Are you
Christmas king,
quoting-
y'all.
Are you quoting Robert California at us right now?
Christmas king.
I'm the fucking Christmas king.
God damn it.
Excellent. Somebody clip that. Get in the comments.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We've got a donation. We've got a good stuff, but it is 11:49. So I know what the good stuff is going to be, what it is going to be, and also charity is its own reward. So thanks, Liz.
Sorry, babe.
But so are rerolls.
Sometimes. So what we see happen as you are standing around and deciding what to do, your hat is whispering in your ear, Al. You're planning to. You're trying to figure out what your next move is. And the ground under your feet starts to shake. You rush outside. And you see the center of the town, the center of Amherst, something starting to emerge, something starting to rise up from underneath. And you realize it's never really occurred to you before, but it's a giant magical tower. Where does it go? Unless Amherst, which is on the water, sits on a shelf with the tower underneath it.
Don't tell me it's a hat. Don't tell me.
You see this crystalline structure start to explode out of the ground, shredding the houses and the community of Amherst, flinging rock and rubble and wood and stone all over the place as it emerges to sort of the height, its towering height, as it glints in the sun. And you hear the camera sort of like pans down, very cinematic angle, to behind you all. You're standing there, various clothing, like trench coat and stuff, sort of like blowing in the wind that has been kicked up by this tower, sort of shooting up out of the ground, and echoing across. You just hear this, what can only be described as a cackle. And then the screen goes black, and the words, "The Grinch will return," flash across the screen. That's the good stuff. We get a sequel. We're sequel baiting. That's the good stuff. You didn't lose. The apocalypse did not happen. Instead, we're sequel baiting. That's the good stuff.
How
Ow.
dare you use the Grinch's good name
Listen,
to Spider-Verse this?
we got to give Grinch versus Krampus. We're primed for it.
The Grinch is going
now
to
we're
kill the
ready.
Krampus.
Oh, we're gonna kick the shit out of that Krampus.
We'll see.
Hey, Gab,
We'll see.
all Grinches are bullies.
Krampus, buddy.
I picture Al screaming like, "It's not me! It's not me! It's not me!" And then like looking around and sees wild. Okay.
It's true. It is not you. But what it is almost midnight. So
Yeah, fuck that.
we
For
did have
you.
to call it. For me, it's true. But you're jet lagged. So same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out and joining us tonight. That was Silent Nacht. That was part of Silent Nacht.
Part one.
Part
Part
one.
two.
I
Get
thought
ready.
we were
Coming
gonna
a
get
holiday
it.
near you.
Yeah. Next
We were
year.
gonna get it,
Oh,
but
God.
we did not, as it turns out. But hey, that happens sometimes. Sometimes you let Brendan roll for things, and sometimes
Never again.
Wow.
Sometimes you get
do
drenched,
not regret that
sometimes you
at
get
all.
cringed. No, you should, nor should you. Did you get a 7?
I got a 7. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Because remember when you were like, "Hey, we should change the rules so that
Right,
you
right.
succeed on a 7 to 10,"
Right. Yeah.
and I was like, "No, I don't think we need to do that."
Will, turn on your location. I just want to talk.
Yeah, let's.
Listen. But yeah, we sequel baited. It'll happen. Real quick, thanks so much for hanging out. This was the last night of Haz-Mas. So we raised $1,540 for Rainbow Railroad over the course of this holiday season of games. Thank you so much to everybody who ran games, everybody who played in games, everybody who watched the streams and donated. We thank you so much. And so probably would Rainbow Railroad if they knew we existed. But all of that being said, I think we will go around in the same order, let everybody know who you are, what you got going on, where they can find you, and we'll just same order. Bob, if you don't mind going first.
Perfect. Yeah. My name is Bob. Bob McDonald. You can find me at Stage Outlaw at most socials. I am I'm not taking a break, but I'm focusing on quality, not quantity this year. So things coming up. I have a long form campaign of Age of Darkwater that I just announced on that hell site. Just a couple, I think I did it yesterday or today. It's going to be every first and third Thursday over at Wanderer's Haven on Twitch. So we are doing a playthrough of Fantasy Age, 2nd edition, but we're doing it to the story of Pirates of Darkwater, the beloved Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And we're actually going to finish the story, hopefully, like find all 13 treasures of rule and stuff. And I'll be playing Ren on that stream with guests and stuff like that. That's my main focus. And then, of course, one-shots and things like that from there on out. So if you want me to play, reach out to me. I'll be glad to join a table and bring some holiday cheer or whatever. And that's what I got going from now on. Thank you for having me, Will. Thank you for this awesome table. I appreciate you all, and I love playing with you.
Yeah, thank you. I would recommend, if you want Bob in a game, would recommend. Brendan.
Hello, I will try to make this quick. I'm Brendan. I don't really do the social media thing, but I am all over Live from the Apocalypse. I am running season 2 of Cryptid Community College currently every other Wednesday. I also play Alex Sandowski on our Audioverse Award finalist Masks Actual Play podcast. We stream live. That is every other Sunday. And also, if you want to catch us in the meat space, we're going to be at MagFest. Baby, myself, Will, Della, and Andy are going to be doing a panel at MagFest around the end of January. If you want to catch us live, we'll be doing a panel on Schrodinger's Crit, how to ignore the rules the right way.
Hell yeah. We'll talk more about Academy Age. Trust me. Jamie.
Hey.
Okay, cool.
No. Okay. Oh, no. Stop. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm also a part of Academy Age, which is every other Sunday, starting up again next week. Also nominated for an Audioverse, just like Brendan, just like Will, just like all of our whole cast. We're very excited. If one of them wins and I don't, I will take it personally. Because I have no chill. Besides that, I have some other things coming up, but nothing I can quite announce just yet. So just I'll keep you posted. You don't care. You can follow me on social medias, most everything at Jamie Carbone, TikTok, X. I'm sorry, I was saying it as a joke, and then it felt gross to say out loud. And then Instagram, I post jokes, I post shows if you live in the Pacific Northwest. I teach stand-up now. I sell stickers saying I'm here, I'm queer, I don't want Thanksgiving to be weird. I sell those as well. Just slide into my DMs respectfully. Will has one. Will was the first person to buy them for me over the internet, and then a few other people have followed suit, and it always makes me feel very special. But yeah, I'm around. I'm around. How are you? Boring conversation anyway.
Kit.
Hi, I'm Kit, and I'm not at my normal setup, so I don't have my outro script. So we're gonna see how much I remember that I'm actually doing. Hey, I'm Kit. You can find me most places on the internet at Kit Roll, or on the bad place at Kit Roll Cause, because somebody took it. Aside from here, when Monster Hearts is allowed to happen, doing our Regency shenanigans, come back for season 3. Don't worry about it. You can find me. Where can you find me? On alternating Wednesdays over on High Shelf Collective. We are playing a little festive little game of beacons, entitled The Beacons of Farlight, where I'm a little AI turned a real boy, and shenanigans ensue. Next time we're fighting God or something. So it's been a normal one there. Every other Saturday-ish over on Lost Caravan, you can catch Fatal Ascension, our Fabula Ultima campaign, where I am yet again playing a robot. Don't read into that. Also going through shenanigans, going through a normal time, having a normal one with the lads. If you like queer narratives, stories of hope amongst defeat, and magical girls, obviously, catch Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, if it's not there, let me know. I'll put it there. That's a threat and a promise. If you want announcements for episodes, things like that, you can find us on all of the socials, basically at Bloom and Blight, all spelled out. And for cast information, character information, setting, shenanigan information, transcripts of all of our episodes, and a link to our shiny new community Discord, go to bloomandblight.com. Because we're fancy now. We're real boys with a website. I think that's most of the stuff that I have remembered. I'm sure there's something else. Peep the socials, and I will talk about stuff as it happens, because I probably miss it here.
Rose.
Howdy, I'm Rose. I'm a community member here at LFTA. Also not a big social person, so if you try to find me, don't. That's weird. But yeah, I am here, play games, hang out with my LFTA friends, and very grateful for everyone having me on. You might probably see me in the future later. You can probably hear my wife laughing in the background. That's the other thing.
I sure did. That was beautiful. Hello. Hi, my name is Will. One of the storytellers here live from the apocalypse. I do a bunch of things, but mostly I have to tell you to vote for Academy H, which, as previously mentioned, we are finalists somehow for 4 Audioverse Awards. Best Recurring Voices, Best Guest Voices, Best Production, and Best Director. There's a link in the chat, and voting ends on January 2nd. So the timeline is pretty tight. Please vote if you are going to. We would appreciate it so much. And as far as other stuff that I have to talk about is concerned, I don't think I have anything. Really, Academy H is coming back. Sometimes we do class reunion, but who knows, because Raph's moving to the UK. I don't know. There's going to be more episodes of Ward H, which is our Horizons and Halcyons game that's going to be a podcast eventually that explores basically the darkest timeline of Academy H. It's like a side story. There will be more side stories. One of them that is currently in the works might be Apocalypse Keys. Just putting it out there, just saying. So maybe keep an eye out for that in the future. But all of that being said, I stream sometimes now, mostly because I'm off work this week. My name has been in chat. I've posted things. If you want to follow, feel free to follow. I'm trying to get to 50 so that I can cause more chaos with channel points and stuff. Anyway, we listen to vinyl. We play a Pokemon Nuzlocke. Sometimes I work on the Super Sentai powered by the Apocalypse system that I'm making. It's a chill time. It's a good time. It is keeping me sane without a work schedule. So ADHD, baby. But all of that being said, we're just about done here. We're going to raid Lost Caravan, who are currently streaming. If you're not following us on social media, you can do that. We're a lot of different places. Sometimes we post on them too. And join the Discord community if that's the thing you're into. It's a great place full of great people. We would love to have you be a part of it. It's also probably the best way to get information about what we are doing these days, now that aforementioned hell site is dying. So I guess from all of us here at Live from the Apocalypse, let's say goodnight, everybody.
Night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.